So yeah. But one of the things I was going to actually bring up was the tarot card stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know how much I mentioned to each person, but I was going to say like with the minor arcana how they have the 4 different things, just like playing cards, but it goes from ace to king, and there's actually an additional one in there. Because there's not just like jack, king, queen. There's like page, knight, queen, king. There's 4 like face cards.
Is there a knight? I thought it was just page, queen, king.
No, it's ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, page, king, or page, knight, queen, king.
Okay, so there is 14 cards. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, is it jack or knight? That's 2 cases.
There's no jacks.
There's no jacks.
Well, they're not. They don't have symbols like that. They just have like page, knight, queen, king.
Mm.
That's the minor, and this is the major. So there's a page, king, page, knight, queen, king for each of them. So I think these would be like special rivals, I guess, if they're going to be rivals. Because if we're going to be like the 4s or whatever, 4 of the 4 things, then they can be like, oh, there's also ace as well. But ace is just like 1 in this. So I guess ace is special in a weird way, even though it's just 1. But it's the first one.
Yeah, when you first showed me that, I was expecting, I did have cursory information. I was expecting Anya to be the wands instead of the cup. But now that you gave me a bit more, what's the word?
Yeah, that's specifically to the 4, right? The 4 of each of them.
When you put the like I took a cursory look, particularly with the, I guess the idea of the general names of them, because
Oh, the names, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know what the fuck a pentacle is. A little circle with a star in it. I think pentacle means magical, so that's why.
Yeah, I was expecting Sayuka to be pentacle for that reason.
Yeah.
Just
But
because of the healing and the fox spirit mysticism and all that.
But then like wands should be magical, but these are like fucking like polearm. How big these wands are.
They're staffs.
Yeah, they're staffs pretty much, yeah. So I mean I guess this could be magical too. But yeah, I mean I don't think the actual depiction of the thing matters, because like what the fuck's a cup? Like Ragnar's a drunk. Like, right, or something like that. So yeah, but I don't think the actual like symbol means anything. I'm pretty sure what each of the things convey will probably be what we're gonna be looking at the most.
Yeah, before you posted what the symbols mean, at least for Anya's character, I was like, huh, okay, that's a bit strange, but oh, I get it now. Yeah, just saving money, security, conservatism, control.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, I'm just thinking about what would branch Anya out from. Like, I'm trying to flesh out her general personality and goals more, but all I keep returning to is she comes from a rich family, she's trying to make her own name. That's pretty much it.
What is she doing to make her own name?
She is going under a separate alias, using her information of like higher profile targets or interested investors.
What does she do? What does she do for work? Like every day when she leaves to go to work, where is she going?
I was thinking either somewhat of a secretary position or a municipal position. Just handling.
So you didn't like start your own little thing yet?
I wasn't sure how much creativity I was allowed, so I just tried
Everything,
to.
all of it, as much as you want.
All right. Okay, give me a moment then.
Like it's all like backstory, like role play shit. Like as long as you're not gaining like mechanical advantages from it, unless you turn them into abilities, right? Like I mean, you can explain like, oh yeah, I put a lot of money into X, so all the money, all the stuff that I get from X is just putting back into it or paying off loans or blah blah blah, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, you can even have something nicer, but say like you can't utilize it yet. Then once you decide I want to utilize this, you can start turning it into abilities.
Basically, like Chekhov's gun. You know it's there. It'll eventually be used, but not now.
So I figured one of the goals for Anya was probably like getting Serafina to a position where she could be like your secretary or something. Because I think right now the idea is you can't take her like it's like right, you can't take her with you to work. So you have to leave her to her own devices, which then is like Vixen's gonna come out to go do things. Then you have to wait for her to come back type deal. So if you can like right, I assume the idea is Anya's trying to get Serafina back and get rid of Vixen. Get rid of the monster she created. Or helped create.
I mean, that split personality thing was a curveball. I was expecting. I mean, up until that point, I was expecting Anya to try to have Vixen be able to lead a better life, not be scraping by, and I guess get more or less used to the idea of being an actual girlfriend when the time came.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Serafina is your girlfriend. Like I would think Serafina
yeah,
knows and they like you guys have done stuff and went on dates and right like all these other things. But Vixen's like what? Like doesn't he know anything about this, right? So like I think the idea would be like because Vixen's like I said like it's weird it's like split personality but it's like a made up person, right? So like the person is part of her but it's still made up. It's like not something that is like she was born with two personalities, right? Like it's something that's kind of made up, but this person has like it's weird because it's like this person has its own life, so getting rid of it is like killing a person almost, right? I think I think that's what they're trying to like convey in Moon Knight, where it's like they're trying to show you and trying to make people understand like when people have split personalities, it's not just easy as getting rid of them, right? Like stop being those other people, and I'll right. It's almost like these are other people now with lives they potentially live and they do things, and like what is a life, right? What like if you create a or what is a soul and stuff like that. Like if you create a artificial person and that person lives a life, you're like, oh, it's fine, you can kill him. He's not a real person. It's like, but they lived a whole life, right? It's like you created them as a baby and then right like they might be a robot, but they act like a human and then they live a life. So is it okay to kill them, like, or get rid of them, or just turn them off? Like, right? It's like I think that's the idea, but I think Anya just I think Anya is like the like because the way I'm making Serafina or whatever is supposed to be like the perfect compatible match for Anya almost. So the idea is Anya's like, yeah, that's gonna be my wife once I train her properly enough to be my wife, right? But the idea people might see that and be like, well, that's kind of fucked up. Train her properly. It's like, well, she needs to learn how to do things, right? Like, but like, you train her like, well, that's her as a person. Like she wants to be trained. Like I like in these type of yeah, she's into it. Like in these type of relationships, like people find people that help complement themselves, right? If you're not very smart, you might find someone's very smart, right? Or vice versa. Like or whatever else, like to help in certain situations. Or yeah. So the idea is I would just think Anya like see I'm actually putting Anya as me IRL almost, like the way I think about this. So I'm making Vixen like almost like my perfect partner almost. because so that's when I say like when I give you a scenario of something, I can go like this is how I would feel about this, and as a dom like this is how I would feel about this for my sub or whatever, right? So when I explain like because me personally, if I find someone that's like, oh cool, you're really helpful, can you help me? And I go, yes, absolutely, I can help you. And then I try to help them. I tell them stuff. They're like, oh, that makes complete sense. I'm gonna do that. And then I'm like, they're like, okay. And I like a week later, they're like, man, I need help with this still. I'm like, oh really? Did my advice not work? Oh, I never did it. And I'm like, fucking do it. What? Why are you asking me again for help if you haven't did the first thing I told you to help with, right? And they're like,
Almost like the tea thing. Almost.
The tea thing?
The tea thing.
Tea thing. Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying, right?
Like
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like it's kind of like that kind of thing where I'm like, I'm not gonna help you anymore, right? Because the idea is in my head, like if I'm the dom in the relationship and you're the sub, you should be doing what I say, especially when it's things to help you, right? Like if I'm gonna take this role to be the person in charge, if you're not gonna follow what I say, then why the fuck am I in this role and why are we in this relationship, right? It's like a weird thing. That's why I was saying. So like Serafina can actually is in the role perfectly for Anya, but Vixen is not, right? right? Like so, like I assume Anya's like, I don't like this Vixen person. I don't want to be in a relationship with them, but they keep stealing away my girlfriend when she pops up. So I was like, I assume this is an okay thing because I guess Anya could be a smart enough person to be like, yes, I'm essentially killing a person, kind of, by getting rid of Vixen, but fuck that bitch, right? Like, so like I assume Anya's not as big like a murderer wanting to kill someone, but if she can make it to where Vixen never comes out because Serafina it feels she's good enough without Vixen, then it's kind of like Serafina getting rid of Vixen almost with the help of Anya, right? Which I think a more lawful evil character can get behind, like getting someone else to do their dirty work for them.
When it comes with that aspect, I mean, in terms of psychology, there's actually treatment for dissociative identity disorders called merging.
Yeah, like the merging, sure, yeah, merging.
Yeah.
I think that's what they did in Moon Knight. Kind
You
of.
don't necessarily kill the person. I haven't watched the show, so I don't know if they're doing the same thing.
I think they just learn to live with each other. Like they just let each other, like they don't have any more trigger things. They just like let each other take over for things, and they talk to each other in their head. They're almost like two people sharing a body now, something like that.
Kind of, sort of. Like it's.
So I want to start the game off with Vixen. I want to start the game off with Vixen not knowing about Serafina, but Serafina knowing about Vixen. That's also how the show starts off too, where the main guy knows about his person he made, but the person he made doesn't know about him. He thinks he is the real person.
Yeah, that's something with dissociative identity disorder, except and like in Moon Knight's accurate, this situation would be flipped because the created identity or the created identities know about the host and all of their, I guess we can call them roommates, but the host is unaware of the others.
Okay.
Of how they act.
Yeah, I think the reason why it's backwards is because the extra person has a whole story created for him. Because he's taking a character from a show that he watched when he was a kid and then changing it to be him with slight changes. So I think the additional person has like fabricated like childhood memories and stuff like that, like old life memory. So they think he's a real person. Like because I mean, if you create someone in your head that just spawned in out of nowhere, you can be like, oh, okay, I'm an added, right? I don't have a past life, so obviously I'm not a real person, and I keep disappearing, and other guy takes over, right? But yeah, so like the idea is, I would think most of the time Serafina is out and exists, and Vixen only comes out when Anya's not around, because like that's how Serafina worked. When Anya left or couldn't interact with her, Vixen came out, or if we're in danger. so like Hulk kinda, like yeah.
Gets angry.
Yeah,
Like,
or like
anytime
I think someone's in
stress.
danger or my friends is in danger, so the Scarafina that's scared and wants to hide behind everyone, like hides behind Vixen pretty much. Yeah, and then Vixen comes out
Basically,
and
under
tries.
stress, Vixen arises, or
Yeah.
without Anya's stimulus, Vixen arises.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Like, I would say Anya would be definitely beside herself on the issue, because
Well, you can think about it like this, like okay, well, Vixen has, or I guess Serafina has abandonment issues because right? That's the thing. Like her parents kind of disappeared, then you disappeared, then people. So Vixen is supposed to pop out to be like, I don't need anyone. I'm awesome, right? Like, and so when she got Sayuko, or whatever, he was like, oh, you're my friend. Cool, we're gonna hang out. So, like when Anya disappears, Vixen pops up and she's like, where's Sayuka? Damn, where is she? And she'll like go look for her or something, or go yeah, interact with her some kind of way. But then when, Vixen sees that, like, yeah, she just jumps back to her.
hmm.
That's why I said, like,
And
the goal is probably to make Serafina your secretary. So she's just going to be able to go with you to work and blah, blah, blah. But then, like I said, it's like a routine thing. So, like, once she gets in the routine of not needing Vixen for anything, because I assume Anya's going to be like, well, you only turn into Vixen when we get in trouble. I don't plan for us to get in trouble, right? Like randomly attacked by monsters and shit or whatever constantly, or bandits. So you're not going to need this Vixen person to take care of us, and like things like that, right? So you like I assume Anya's not going to, like I said, try to kill Vixen. She's just going to like make it to where Serafina doesn't need Vixen to come out anymore.
yeah, and so I wouldn't say she wants to try to justify it as helping Seraphina get over that trauma, quote unquote, by having her around all that time. But counterintuitively, counter, but counter to what she's trying to do, it's just running away from the issue rather than dealing with it.
Well, I mean,
So,
it's also like having to train her, right? So like the idea would be like if someone has abandonment issues, you stay with them all the time, so you give them like, okay, I'm comfy now, but then you leave them for like a very small amount of time, right? And then you're like, okay, I'm gonna be right back in a minute, right? And you're like, okay, and then they can handle a minute, then 2 minutes, and then 3 minutes, and then 5 minutes, and then right, and you slowly show them like, hey, look, I'm coming back, and you just constantly
yeah,
always come back until they're like, okay, I don't feel this thing anymore, right?
and like training, like, okay, can you pick up the, and this could be like tied to the request that Anya gives Seraphina slash Vixen to go out to this place that's maybe about like a 5 minute round trip or
Mm-hmm.
10 minute round trip, and then just see how she does being away. She can A, stay on task, and B, still be Seraphina.
When she gets back, yeah.
Yeah. Like, not just be, okay, you just wait for me, or just wait for me to come back all the time. Just like, okay, can you function by yourself for short bursts of time?
Mm.
And can others that you trust, like me, also promote Seraphina to stay in the driver's seat? So like she would want, so maybe over time
Mhm.
she wants Sayuka to be one of those people, but
Yeah,
I
because
think that also make a good conflict because Sayuka's like, okay, Vixen, you're acting weird.
no. Okay, here's the way I have to fix this. So, like I was gonna say, Serafina is aware of everything Vixen does, but Vixen has no idea about Serafina. So the idea is when Serafina, she still can interact with Sayuka as almost like Vixen or like a nicer version of Vixen, right? Like she still interacts with her. It's just that Sayuka just assumes that maybe Vixen or has like sometimes she's nicer than other times. Like, oh, when we start getting fighting, you get really like pissy and shit, right? You start getting a lot meaner when we start fighting. But when you're not fighting, you're like super nice. Yeah.
Yeah, but Seraphina's the main personality in this case.
Yeah. And also that's why Sayuka would assume, or why I would assume Sayuka would be okay with leaving like Vixen with Anya, because she sees that, oh, Vixen's a better person with you type deal, right? She's a nicer person. She's a less aggressive. She's not aggressive at all. She has a happy life now, right? She's not on the streets, blah blah blah. So Sayuka is like, so like almost like Sayuka's okay with getting rid of Vixen too, right? But like she probably knows that she's one of the reasons that keeps like that makes Vixen become Vixen, kind of. So she probably has this like weird thing of like, I want to stay with my friend, but I want my friend to be better off, right? But me staying with them is keeping them in this weird position.
Yeah. I just want to make sure Anya's at least initial goals aren't malicious.
Yeah.
The thing. She might stray towards maliciousness or selfishness down the road.
I don't think there's anything malicious about this.
I mean, but it's when you're talking about, okay, this is how you control it. This is how, like, control her by doing this, this, and that.
But like I said, like that's part of the relationship, right? It's not a bad thing. Like Serafina likes being controlled, right? Serafina like willingly does all this stuff.
Right. But is that coming to that dilemma of having a third wheel, more
Yeah,
or less?
that's why I said like Anya probably gets annoyed at Vixen. That's why she might have these malicious thoughts eventually, if like her initial, like, I'm just gonna interact with my girlfriend whenever this random bitch pops up, I just have to deal with it. But then eventually it might just be like, you know what, this bitch has been annoying me for way too long, right? Like I need to get rid of her or something down the line, if you're like subtly can't get rid of her, right?
Yeah, if it just keeps ruining plans of a happy life together, like,
Bitch gotta go.
I really don't want to be mean, but we need to cut off all of this.
Yeah, so that's what I said. Like I think like even I think the best way to do it is like a merger type thing, like you were saying. But it's more of like just getting Serafina to be able to be more confident and be, or no, Serafina's pretty confident. Like I think that's the thing. I think Vixen's very self-conscious and not confident. That's why she like has the over big ego.
But Serafina hides when there's danger.
Yeah, because she, so you need to make her like
confrontational.
Yeah, like, because the idea is she might even be able to handle it. She just thinks that, like, oh no, I shouldn't be the one to fight. I shouldn't fight these people. Fighting's not good. You shouldn't fight. That's just bad, right? Like, so, like, she's more like, let's just get out of here and not fight these guys. Like, we shouldn't do that, right? Or something like that. Where Vixen's like, let's fuck these guys up just cause they're in our way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you need to like get that middle ground type deal.
Yeah, trying to find the balance.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that just runs into a question that we can probably tackle when the game comes. Would the two have separate souls?
I don't know. Maybe because I'm a Nephilim, like Vixen's the more fiendish one, and Seraphine is the more like angelic one or whatever, right?
I mean, but you can still be one soul even if you're a Nephilim, like...
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, if we want to have two different souls, then we can explain it like that for some reason.
But would that be because they were always there, or just Because
Yeah, like the always there thing is like maybe there was like one soul that was a color and then it slowly started ripping or something, and then when it ripped, that's when it like became two. So the idea is trying to put the soul back together.
Yeah, but that's something I probably want to keep it like a surprise between the both of us
Yeah,
until
yeah,
time
yeah.
comes. What feels organic as we roleplay these
Yeah.
things out, because
Yeah.
I don't want to pigeon.
It's something to keep in mind, right? That we can potentially do. Like if down the line I think of something really cool and I'm like that deals with soul or something or a soul or something, and I'm like, you know what, I can make a really cool ability out of having like a split soul or something, right? Or I can think of a really cool story like line to do with that. Or if Josh can.
And I don't want to risk. And I don't want to risk like session one, like early on in the game, because Tylo and Victor literally built their business around like transferring souls and all that. So best not to try to get them involved, especially when we don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we'll see as things happen. Like
Exactly.
we might meet some old woman that tells us a fucking story and I can see your souls. It's split, right? Like whatever. That leads us down a line to do something.
Yeah. Also, part of the reason why I want Anya to not be want to be separate from our old characters while still having some sort of continuity.
Mm-hmm. My dad deals in souls, so I didn't want
When
I'm a soul.
actually, that's my. He doesn't like to use the word godfather, but I'll call him godfather. I actually have a god grandparent, so that makes things even weirder.
Maybe she hope she didn't fall asleep. That's gonna be annoying.
Why would she be asleep? I thought
yesterday I messaged her and she said she wanted to do a date herself, so she muted her Discord, and then she messaged me back. At so because I talked to her a while back and I said, oh, I'm hanging out with Vel and all that stuff, and I said I'll be free like Sunday night once she goes home. So Sunday I was like, I messaged her, still up? Question mark. You okay? Then I called her. She didn't answer. So I said, you dead? I'm gonna go to sleep. Night. Talk to you tomorrow at session 0. And that was like at like throughout the evening of Sunday. So she messaged me today at 2 a.m. saying, I'm sorry, I was taking a day, blah, 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 you know, I'll be there for, you know. So maybe, and then she wrote at 3:39, I'm alive, and I was like, good. And I asked her if she wanted to talk like an hour after she said I'm still alive for this game, and she didn't say anything. And I messaged her at 7:03. She didn't say anything. I called her. She didn't. So maybe when she said I'm still alive, she fell asleep. I don't know. Maybe she stayed up all night till like 3:30 and then fell asleep. So she is. She's been sleeping for like, I don't know, 4.5 hours.
3.
Either way, I'm recording it. I'm assuming we're gonna get like the basis of shit done, or talking about like any basis stuff Josh wants to do for the game, and it's gonna be like a very like us like adding stuff, and then I can send this to Vanessa and Ragnar, and they can be like, oh, okay, I get the base stuff, and then they can just message Josh some shit too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then because I mean, that's sure it's gonna be like the base thoughts, and then we're gonna think of all kinds of stuff throughout the week, and then we're gonna come and add our first thoughts to the base thoughts. And then from that, Josh could have already had more stuff from what we said about the base thoughts added to the second base of thoughts versus our main story stuff that we thought of and basic stuff. And then we talk more and more and more until we're like, okay, everything's ironed out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't think it's going to be a big deal if they missed or whatnot. As long as they hear what we said. Yeah. It's just that we're gonna miss out on anything they said, unless I guess they put it in the all chat of their idea. Or yeah, we probably should say that. Anything you want to whisper, just message it to everyone so we all see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I would just say if they want to talk to any of one of us about anything we said, they can just call us whenever. Or if we see Josh in the chat throughout the week, or if you are there throughout the week, Josh, just give us a at wherever the fuck our game name is. I don't know, and everyone would get the prompt that you're in the chat.
Ecliptus.
Yeah, Ecliptus. Or player characters or whatever, but I think I turned all the player characters. No, player characters for everyone.
Yeah, player characters is for everyone, but
everyone that's played D&D.
But I mean, technically this is the only game right now.
Yeah, but the player character was meant to be anyone that's played or wants to play. So whenever I say like at player characters, there's a game that's gonna start, blah 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 blah, right? Then I can get I can message all the potential people that want to play, not just everyone that's in the Discord, because some people like Jose or something just.
Because I don't think I've met Akka before.
Akka is the only other random person that was in Ragnar's game. I could probably get rid of him, to be fair. I think he's the only person left I can get rid of.
Yeah, I haven't heard them talk at all, I recall.
Yeah.
I guess make sure that they weren't.
He just disappeared. I just kicked him. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah.
He didn't need to be. That's fine.
I'm sure
it's fine.
They're
We probably shouldn't
friends
talk
with
about it.
Ragnar.
I don't think. They're just like Star Wars stuff. Yeah. But okay. So any other thing about the? We'll probably talk about that more. But I don't know, mechanics. It's whatever. So we're just gonna put mechanical shit down. Anything else character-wise between our two characters? Surprise you want to bring up before we do something else, and then I think about a million other things I need to tell you.
Between our characters?
Yeah, anything specifically you want to bring up that you want to have an idea for them together, like what things we've done, things we could do, like added backstory stuff. You ask like you can ask like if Anya said X to Serafina, what would she have said back or something like that, right? Like how is their relationship? Like, does Serafina have a collar she wears, right? Things like that, right? Like how submissive is this character to Anya type deal, or in how I don't know, how extreme is Anya of a I guess mistress or whatever, right?
As a dom?
Or as a mistress, as a dom, I guess, sure.
Yeah. She is. In public, she's very elegant when speaking.
Mm-hmm. Wait, in public? She's elegant in speaking? Like, she's not elegant all the time in speaking?
Well, it's more apparent in public.
Okay, like she's an overachiever in public.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, again, she's trying to make a name for herself, trying to separate herself from the family, so...
Like, she's regal, but in, like, public, she's very regal and, like, pompous, probably. Like, she might use salt every now and then, but then in public, she's using sword, right? Like...
Yeah, she is trying to keep good relationships, well, trying to have a good public image, and trying very hard at it.
Mm-hmm.
In private, while she still keeps some of her, I guess, upper class mannerisms, because of Tylo being who he is and rubbing off on his daughter, it slips out more that she can be more casual. Like, her room would be isn't really messy, but it's messier than any other part of the house.
Or she allows it to be messy.
Like, she allows it, like...
Yeah, but I assume
if she was living by herself, the most messiest room would be her own room, because it's a closed door, and windows have blinds on them.
Gotcha. No one knows about it, other than, I guess, Serafina, which is the one probably cleaning it.
Yes, and only if she can go with the argument that, oh no, you made this mess, so I already made a mess in the living room. And
Yeah, so I would think Vixen's the one that makes messes, right? So, but Serafina
Yeah.
cleans them for.
Yeah, I guess. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I guess because
Yeah,
when you
you
say
don't have to. Yeah,
on,
so I changed it, right? Like I was trying to push it as like you're just manipulating Vixen constantly, but the idea is like that gets kind of boring, I
old.
guess. And I don't say
Yeah, old.
old, but like it doesn't make too much sense because if you can manipulate her, then anyone can manipulate her, right? Like so it just
Unless,
puts it as a like oh she's very easily manipulated, right? But then I was gonna put it like you're not manipulating her anymore. Like maybe you can manipulate Vixen a bit, like because Vixen is very easily manipulated, but then Serafina is just very accepting, right? She just does the stuff you tell her to do.
mhm,
So you don't have to like say like, oh, you made a mess in here, so clean my room too. You can like, she's gonna like want to clean your room pretty much because she likes you. She's
mhm.
yeah. Like I said, she's like in the little thing I said. I think she said she feels like she owes you her life because of all the stuff you've done for her and stuff like that. So cleaning your room's like nothing to her. Like yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she's definitely happy that uh that Serafina feels indebted to her. At the same time, like at some point throughout the year, she started to question, okay, does she like me just because I saved her in doing this? Does she like me for actually me?
Let's see.
And that might be some tests.
Yeah. Right. Like it's definitely she likes you. Because like that was the whole point of like the only person that's ever been nice to her. So she likes people that are nice to her, right? They
Mm-hmm.
don't see her as just like a homeless girl that's just like nothing, trash, right? And also like the idea because of Serafina is not very special, right? Like in the fact that she's not smart, she's not wise, she's not strong, she's not quick. I try to like do that. Like, I don't have any
Mm-hmm.
like I don't. I'm actually not gonna
She's
fight you.
commoner.
Yeah, she's a commoner. Yeah, and as a commoner, you still like showed her kindness and were nice to her for her. Like you were nice to her because of just who she is, right? Not because of anything she's done or didn't do. And I would assume you are like that because of the whole idea behind like you don't want to be treated special because of your parents, right? You want to be seen as special for what you've done, right? So I guess it's like one of those like projects of like you find someone that's kind of worthless and then I try to see if I can make them good, like a decent person or like become something from nothing because you're trying to go from something to something better. So bringing someone from nothing to something is probably just the same thing, right?
Yeah, she's trying to build. Anya's trying to build herself up. It comes to another question: is what am I without my parents' name, without all of the status? Could
Mm-hmm.
I still reach? Could I still reach greatness like my father did, like my mother did, like
Mm-hmm.
all these other people, or am I just being pushed through life? And in a couple of generations, everyone will forget my name because I was not impactful enough to leave an impression.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, that's what I said. Like I think like Vixen probably doesn't like Vixen's probably very asexual and doesn't care about people at all or anything like that. Like she just doesn't care. Like her thing is like her being as a person is just to not have to care about things like that.
okay,
Because
asexual and aromantic.
yeah, because Serafina does, and like Serafina has feelings and they get hurt and then all that kind of stuff. So like Vixen was supposed to not have these feelings, to not get hurt, so she can be like just the rock that she needs to be to not care about this stuff. So that's why I said when she gets sad, like when abandoned and stuff like that, she gets sad, and then Vixen pops on like I don't care, I don't need anybody, and she just like walks away and just does things.
Okay, what would Serafina react to if Anya ever like just broke down and cried, just the two of them?
If Anya cried, oh,
Yeah,
she would
like
she would probably try to console you as best she can and do any like ask like what can she do to help, or what's like first trying to figure out what's wrong so she can try to help, and then try to like whatever if you don't tell her, like if you tell her what's wrong and she's like how can I help and you're like you can't, she's probably still going to try to help the best she can in any way she can, right? Like just whatever she thinks, like whatever comes to mind first, right? Like or like okay, when I cried, Anya did this to me, right? Or did this for me or whatever, right? To try and get me to stop. So it might even be like really awkward because maybe sometimes you would like try to convince her like you don't need to cry, like and give her reasons why, to try to like logically explain why you shouldn't cry, not emotionally, because like emotions are like hard to fix because they're emotions.
Emotions don't match
Yeah.
logic.
Yeah.
Well,
So you were like, well,
entirely true.
yeah, not entirely true. That's why I said it's gonna be weird, because if you explain something to Serafina on like why she shouldn't need to cry right now, she might go like, that's true, that makes sense, and it might get her to stop crying. So if she tries to like logically try to stop you from crying, it's like that doesn't make sense or even apply right now, but I see what you're doing, right? Which it might be like, oh, you're adorable, you're trying to do the thing to stop me from crying like that, right? And it might make you like happy or laugh or something, which will then maybe stop the crying or something, right? Like,
yeah. Yeah, Anya would probably go and, well, when she makes her laugh, just hug her, just
yeah.
get that warm.
Mhm.
What about the other way around with like if Serafina is like super sad, Anya would definitely be would keep her kind of demeanor, but would be
Yeah,
far more familiar.
I think the idea is you would be able to tell Serafina's like why she's sad more than like if it's like something that's kind of pointless. It's just her being a baby. Then you're probably more like stern and like just stop, right? Like telling her to stop or something like that. But when it's like but when it's very like obvious like something is wrong, like something is hurting her, you're probably just like just you comforting her. It's like, oh, she showed like she's like because I said like Serafina thinks you're like you're way too good for her, right? She's like, why is this person even giving me the time of day type deal? So like I think that almost is one of the reasons why Serafina is so scared, because she's like, I don't understand why this person even likes me, or not even she assumes you like her, but then she's like, why is she even talking to me? Like why does she just leave? Like why does she just like tell me to leave? Or like as soon as she sees someone else that's like everyone's better than me, so at any moment's notice she can just leave me to find someone better. So I gotta like, right, like things like that might be in her head, like because of her abandonment stuff, right? Like,
would she ever say that stuff out loud, or is it for Anya to try to?
You probably figured it out already. Like you probably figured it out pretty easily, because like I said, like when she like you probably just like ask her certain things. She probably just tell you. Like I don't think she's gonna try to hide anything from you. Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure you like put those worries to ease.
Yeah. Like Anya would comfort her, tell her that like she chose Serafina for the reason that she connects the most with her.
Yeah, but like the idea is, so when she sees you with other people or talking to other people or being very nice or familiar, like that's still kind of in the back of her head, right? It's not like she cried herself to sleep thinking of it every day. But I mean, the idea is like she still has the idea like I can be replaced pretty easily if right, like she can find someone just like me but better very easily. So like you put those things to ease, and she's fine. But again, like certain things can bring that up. But it's not like every day. It might be like maybe she has like this split thought like once a month or something when she sees something.
Yeah, right? Or when she is stressed, but not in the way that Vixen would come out stressed.
Yeah. Or like when the abandonment issues happen, right? Like if you're like, okay, I'll be home at 6, be ready to go, blah blah blah, by like 7 or 8 or whatever, right? And then like 6 rolls around and it's like she's she's not here, and then like 6:30, 7, she's like, oh no, what if she left me for right? What if she went with someone else to the thing or whatever, right? Oh no, right? And then you're like, oh, I got late traffic, blah blah blah, or something like that, whatever. I don't know. And you're like, oh, okay. Whew. Yeah.
Okay, this brings up another point. If you have like sending stones / cell phones in the game, would Seraphina pop up or Vixen?
Where? Oh, Vixen does not have a cell phone.
Yeah, but she's like.
But
In the
Seraphina
house.
would. Like Seraphina
Yeah.
would. Yeah. Vixen would be like, what the fuck is this thing, right? And like, you probably showed Seraphina how to. Yeah. But like Seraphina will probably never call you because it's like almost like a
No,
speak
but
when
like
spoken.
if
Yeah.
Anya tries to call Seraphina.
Oh yeah, Seraphina will like instantly pick up, right?
I mean, that's the expectation, or
Yeah.
is it like Vixen's like, his phone is this, and like as soon as you.
Yeah,
hear
that's what I was
Anya's
thinking,
voice,
yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Maybe it depends on the situation, right? Because if Vixen's just like hanging out in the house, not really doing anything because you left, and she's just like, right? Because I assume as soon as you leave, Seraphina has like chores or whatever, right? So she does her chores, but then when she's like done doing her chores, she's like, now what, right? And then she's like, I've been left, right? And like, oh no, and then like Vixen pops up. So like, it depends on how, right?
I just imagine like those Big Brothers watching you posters, but just Anya all around.
Yeah. So like the idea is if you give Seraphina enough things to keep her mind busy, you can probably keep Vixen away, right? So that's why I say most of the time you just have Seraphina. But if something happens, or if for some reason she does something, like I need you to do X, it might take a few hours, but it takes a few minutes because just luck or whatever, then you might get Vixen every now and then. Yeah, but I don't see Vixen as very interesting as a character, because she's just going to be the tough, like, she's going to be like Vi before, yeah, she's going to be Vi without any of the extra stuff I gave her. Because like I said, I was trying to make Vi very boring, so like you and Nick can lead the game. But then it was like, you guys didn't have anything really special, and then like everything we did was kind of, well, you didn't have anything special,
but it wasn't anything immediately special.
Yeah, it wasn't anything. Yeah, it wasn't day to day. Yeah, we needed day to day stuff. So like you guys were technically boring in day to day aspect as well. So I needed to
yeah. Because I was expecting like, okay, we're going on this epic journey across cities and continents.
Yeah. See, is how we're talking about day to day shit.
And we never left the first town.
Yeah, like right now, how we're talking about day to day shit, because I know that's what I'm gonna be doing. Like I'm playing this character's life. Like I need to. We're setting up a backstory for these characters, so I know how they interact with these certain things.
Yeah,
so we never leave the first city in like for the first 6 months of the game is because we have so much stuff to do in the city because of our backstory.
If it lasts that long.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that's where we're having this kind of chapter thing.
Yeah, it still makes it interesting. I mean, even when Nick comes back, we might do that thing where Nick's like, "Hey, I'm kind of ready to come back," but I'm like, "Okay, why don't we do like bi-weekly, right? And then we do each game other week, so Nick can still do things or something." Yeah.
Yeah, it might be funny if this, I guess, this universe is more becomes non-canon or like a separate timeline, depending about how things play out.
No, the end of the thing, someone wishes to make the planet different and make it a ring world ruled by queens and titans, and then it just happens like fuck. Just changes the game. There, done. Figured it out. Figured out how to do it. The MacGuffin.
Always the MacGuffin.
Yeah. I mean, all we have to do. You ready for this, Josh? To link it together. Whatever Victor's Titan of Industry is, that's one of the Titans. Like that can be the robot Titan. Victor's wish was going to get the big giant robot Titan. He wanted a big giant. He wanted it because I gave him a cool name because I had it as a card. What?
Wants to become a Titan, or just to...
I don't know. I think he just wants a big ass Titan to help like protect things.
Yeah, it might be like a giant mech. I think also to suplex gods.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be called a Titan of Industry. But I was like, well, you have robot Titans, like. I remember you said you had a construct one.
Yeah, like a construct sector, at
Yeah.
least in a
Yeah,
construct
so
lore
it
of
tells
the unborn or something.
currently Mina 8 is the construct.
Yeah, it was a chick with the little dot. Yeah.
There's things that exist like that.
But is there? But do you have art for a
Let me see if I can find it.
any? Is it? So you do have one?
I think I should.
You have a name for him?
Yeah, he was a relic.
Just give him the nickname Titan of Industry. Done.
His name was Aku.
Aku, the Titan of Industry.
Oh, okay. He's a kabuki mask and be all black.
Oh, he's not a. No, I guess he could be. Uh,
I mean,
well, I guess the Titans are. I don't know if the Titans have always been the same Titan.
yeah, it could be like gods. When,
Yeah.
When Mystra or Mystica.
Or Artemis becomes Lord of Murder. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you still there, Josh? Or did you walk away?
Josh.
Oh.
Oh.
How are the Titans? Are they all like? Are they like? There's only one Titan, and when it was that?
There's no specific age.
No, I'm just saying, like, if a Titan dies, can another Titan become, or someone become the Titan, or is it? Okay, so Titans are just like.
And has that already happened before?
Yeah, so you have some of the previous Titans that just took over and didn't follow things properly, so they became corrupt.
Okay.
Or you have those that have been in power forever and have been, just the entire time.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
before
like it could have been something where if we do link to the universe somehow, Murderous's Titan of Industry could have been the old Titan or something.
Mm-hmm.
Victor didn't handle it well.
Or Tylo eased him up to the thoughts of gods.
So are the Titans supposed to be the gods?
in this world?
Yeah.
No, they're just leaders, but they got sort of like
Super strong.
blessed with power, and then, some of them staged, through their leadership, others became actual Titans.
They're like demigods, or they're just powerful on Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking they would be demigods or god related.
Yeah.
But if they're just like powerful creatures.
Well, that's what demigods are.
Yeah, I know. I just wasn't sure if this was a homebrew thing or something.
Like one type of demigod is like I said, like ancient dragons, liches, with just lots of followers with lots of power. And followers give you power.
So is it demi-lich or demigod?
Yes. Oh no, is demi-lich actually better than a lich?
In some ways, yes. In other ways, no. I mean, they don't have the access to the highest level spells.
Okay.
They don't have as much.
But I'm just trying to see what they figure out. Like demi meaning like smaller lich.
Oh yeah, demi-lich is a lower challenge rating than an actual lich. It's basically a lich that over the centuries has gone mad and his body decayed till it's just a head.
Oh, the little. Okay, yeah. No, so like the idea would be demi liches are probably too weak to get that thing.
Yeah, that's why I was joking. Like,
Yeah.
Demigod.
Yeah, I get it. The name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. But yeah, this allows me to, because like I was gonna say like, 'cause I was thinking like throughout every interaction, and I was like, it'll be way too easy to just get Vixen to do anything Anya says, because of she just gets really easily manipulated, I guess, or like she's not very smart, and she sees Anya as being someone smart. So usually, if you just tell her something smart, she's just like, those are words, and I don't know why they go together like that, but something in there made sense, so I guess I should do this thing, right? Like, yeah. So like this is weird, right? Like, and I think just having you just give me the stupid reason that you make up, bullshit reason you make up to sell her the snake oil or whatever. Every time you want her to do something will get kind of old eventually.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I can just say Seraphina just does it, and then you have to sell the snake oil to Vixen every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because it becomes more of that weird brat thing. But I don't actually like brats, or I don't like role playing a brat. It just feels stupid to me. But that's also because I don't like brats. So
That's fair enough.
yeah. So Vixen being more of a brat just seems not as fun to play. So just being like a stupid person, so like almost like Moxie, Vixie and Moxie would be kind of the same kind of character of just being stupid. But then Seraphina will be more of just like another character that made it was probably something like my like
Wait, which Moxie are we talking about?
the little pirate girl that I made.
Oh, that Moxie. I thought you were talking from that show.
No. It's another character that I made. But Moxie was supposed to be chaotic evil, but I'm not gonna make evil. Like you're chaotic neutral. Because Moxie was willing to kill people. Like fuck those people. Yeah. But yeah. So I guess we'll just randomly talk about other things and jump back to questions about our characters and as we think of them.
Okay.
So what do you think will be best for like the beginning of the game, Josh? Like how should we be starting?
So it seems like it doesn't really matter too much because your investment in the world isn't that heavy.
Yeah.
Well,
so as of right now, until we invest into the world.
Yeah.
I mean, the way they usually start is the stadium fight. There's I guess a monthly event that they have prisoners and other people who are immune to death fight for either freeing that debt or being free themselves. And then sometimes the queens come there to scout news like new soldiers,
Fighters and
new
soldiers, yeah.
peoples and stuff.
Yeah.
So and then that gets ransacked or flipped over.
Yeah, I remember.
The other way is you guys can pick a place on one of the shelves, and there's different events going on the cell. So
we're gonna be in the. So we've already agreed to be in the. Bliss Wing, yeah. So where's the arena happening? Can that be anywhere, or it has to be a specific place?
A specific place. Tannica is the uninhabited area that has a stadium, so everyone just travels there just to see fights. And
okay. So we can probably say that it was probably a business opportunity for Anya there potentially.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's why we went there. I mean, if the queens are going there for business opportunities, I assume other people can go there for smaller opportunities, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember what her business what was. So do you have plans for a starting business already, Surprise, or were you not even thinking about that yet? Or a starting
I was
company?
thinking of fashion business. So my idea was like Anya might have been making some clothing here and there, just sort of souvenirs for Tylo when he goes to defend the championship every once in a while or come back.
Oh, is Tylo here fighting in the arena?
I was thinking maybe.
Maybe is Tylo retired right now? So maybe he's there, but like a guest.
That was the other route I was thinking. The first route was that so how in the last campaign Tyler was doing the whole wild man thing as a pilgrimage to find it in himself to forgive himself by fulfilling his brother's last wish of getting wild man famous. So I was thinking, hey, maybe he could either A, continue as the Wild Man here or there whenever he's challenged.
I think it would be better if he's already done it, and like
Yeah.
the Wild Man's like the Michael Jordan of fighting maybe or something. So now you just every now and then like pop up places like, hey, right, there's like Wild Man cereal or right things like that. Like you're already famous, so you don't have to push that anymore. So now you just every now and then maybe show up places as the Wild Man. Like when it's the kids like die and wish and make a wish, you're like, hey, right, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You probably don't need to fight anymore, but you still need to like pop up places to keep it fresh in people's heads.
Yeah, because Tylo, after he would have fulfilled his brother's wish, get into the annals of fame and wrestling history, he would have gone back to what he really wanted to do and get into theater production, writing scripts or making, uh, composing orchestra and doing choreography. Those were the three things I chose for Tylo when he went to the entertainer field. I guess when he chose the entertainer background. Because to give you a few options, I just put a few of my own in there. Like, what would make sense to Tylo? So, and this is what I want Tylo to be famous for. Not really for wrestling, but more so for his musical and theatrical contributions, pairing with uh, Victor and getting into the soul business. At first, to make sure that Victor wasn't just going to rip any stranger's soul against their will. So he kind of has a lot on his plate, and while he tries to make enough time to see his daughter, it still has a strain on the family.
Yeah, but I mean, your daughter's like past 18, right? So I mean,
Yeah, but
she doesn't.
growing up as well.
Oh, okay,
It's
growing up.
like,
Yeah.
it's like, because most of the stuff it has been achieved right around the time or right before she was born.
Sure.
So she was always in this flux of, okay, daddy will be here this time, that time. Like, but if her daughter, but if she really, and I mean really needed Tylo for either emotional support of any kind, you drop everything and go see her.
Yeah.
But the smaller moments may or may not be.
Yeah, the small things slip between the cracks. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And she spends most of her time, and she's spending more of her time with Daggy in that case.
Um. So yeah, so I assume titles here as like a, I won't say mascot, but as a promotional stunt type thing. Like he's here in the audience, like we have the Wild Man here, right? Or maybe Tylo has lookalikes now that he can just have other people do it for him because he has a mask on, right?
I mean, that was his next level of ability.
It wouldn't be hard, yeah.
Yeah, just have people who dress up as the Wild Man or Wild Man adjacent.
Yeah, but I think that was more of like allowing people to take up the mantle, like. So maybe you've already trained someone. Maybe you found a replacement for the Wild Man. Like you passed the torch. So now Tylo is not the Wild Man anymore. He's just Tylo and he does his theater stuff. So there is a Wild Man and he's younger and he's still there as a promotional thing because the whole point of the arena is to find new people, right? Not for a big tournament.
Mm.
Yeah.
It'd probably not be it'd probably be not called the Wild Man necessarily, but kind of like how. I mean, I guess still called the Wild Man that people know it's just a different version, like.
Like it's like the Wild Man's kid or something, even though it's not Tylo's kid. It's just like the theatrics of it. Theatrics of it.
Like Batman Beyond between Bruce Wayne and Terry McGinnis.
Sure. Yeah. That makes
Like the design of the costume is very different, and Anya could actually have helped creating that suit.
Yeah, and that can be why it's a business opportunity for her to go there, because there's going to be potential new fighters, and they all going to need suits and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not really that elegant, but it will definitely draw some eyes, especially since royalty will come around and see, okay,
Yeah.
these colors pop. Maybe they could do for party events or something.
Or like, because I assume everyone coming here is trying to catch the eyes of the queens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because they want to be picked up or whatnot. So maybe you even say like, "Hey, what queen do you like?" And I'm like, I don't care, but I like all of them. Like, whoever wants to take me, take me. But maybe someone's like, "Oh, I'm like a hometown kid. Like, I want to be picked up by my queen, right?" Because like a team thing. So like, oh, what are the queen's colors? Like, oh, this, what symbols? Like, I can make you an outfit that would definitely look just like her, like colors and out like stuff like that, and let you catch their eye better, right? Like,
Or using some sort of insider information of how, like, the personal taste of the queen
Yeah.
rather than what they represent.
or maybe you
With-
even know the guy, the wrestler you're coming to, is like a hometown kid, and he definitely wants to be picked up by the queen. So you just come at him like, I got this outfit. It's perfect. This is perfect colors. This is blah blah blah. Like, right, just being a person to know your audience type thing.
Yeah. And that could get Serafina jealous with if she sticks around to see her measuring the guys or the girls. Just like,
Yeah. I would assume she's not. I don't think Seraphina's jealous. I think Vixen is jealous, but she doesn't know why, right?
oh
because-
yeah, because there's all this fighting and such stuff around. Maybe
Yeah.
that will be more like, okay, I lost this fight. I'm in a fighting environment again. Gotta keep the tough guy act up, whatever reason. Just like Vixen's front and center, and
Well, not even that. I don't think she would be. I don't think Vixen would even be. I think it's more like, oh, this is a fighting area. This is scary, and like Seraphina kind of, like that would potentially put Vixen out. Like if something happens, right? If Anya's around and we're like, oh, you're coming with me, and we're gonna do this like more thing, and you're gonna be my secretary for this, right? I'm gonna train you to be my secretary, right? So Seraphina has her nice dress on and blah blah blah. She's very presentable, and she's doing what she can do. But then if shit goes down, like someone gets pushed and knocks into Seraphina, or no, probably not Seraphina. I think if Seraphina gets bumped into, she's just gonna be like, oh no, right? But if Anya gets bumped into, yeah, Vix is gonna try to beat someone's ass in a dress, and then realize, why am I in a dress, right? Like, yeah, what happened?
Yeah.
Did I black out again? Yeah.
And if it's like not the first time, but maybe the fourth or the fifth, Anya would have modified dresses in the future to probably have that long, like, cocktail design, so she would be free to kick or run.
Yeah, like I assume Vixen just assumed when she wakes up in position she's not. She assumed she got drunk and blacked out, and then right. That's pretty much what she just assumed. Why she doesn't remember anything. Like, did I put the dress on and dance around again like an idiot? That's stupid. She like takes it off. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that could be a good setting, because depending on...
But that explains why we're both there, but we still need to figure out why.
I think that depends on what Ragnar and Nessa's characters will be doing, because
I assume, like I said, like Vanessa's character is like a necessary evil, I guess, in Anya's opinion sometimes, like because she keeps Vixen out of trouble. So I would assume Anya would assume that she's gonna have to interact with people every now and then without Vixen. Like if she needs to go like meet the queens, she probably doesn't want to because like I said, like I would assume by this part, Seraphina is good enough to be presented as like a lady or like whatever like that is. But if something happens to where Vixen pops out, it kind of like fucks up everything. That's the only concern right now. So that's what Anya's probably scared of is her swapping in the middle of a weird situation that brings like shame to Anya will bring shame to whoever, right? So that's
Yeah,
when you
and
have to leave her behind, but you can't just like leave her somewhere, right? Because she's gonna start doing other shit. Like, why am I here? Where am I? And she's just running like. So you bring Nessa's character with us, be like, you're the babysitter when I have to do stuff.
so do you want that kind of that kind of incident to have happened before? Like Vixen slips out while meeting a high-profile case.
No, probably not, because I would think your character's smart enough to know that could happen. So you never would put yourself in that position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I said when we go out on dates, it's not to like high class balls or galas, right? It's more of like just neutral stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it slips out, it's very easily contained or whatever, or slips up. Yeah.
Um. So if and when they sleep together, do they make sure they sleep in different places, or is it like just as long as she's around sleeping and wakes up, it's going to be fine?
Yeah, if she's around sleeping and wake up, she's fine. Like the sleeping doesn't usually probably do anything.
Mhm.
Yeah, but if Serafina wakes up and you're not in the bed next to her, she's gonna yeah. It's, but I assume Serafina wakes up first because she might have to get up and go do things like make coffee or something like that, right? Because you have to get ready for work and then probably go to work. So Serafina does basic morning stuff to help you get ready to go to work.
Yeah, yeah, most of the time. And if Anya is awake before Serafina, she would just well, she would just make sure that Serafina's not in an uncomfortable position, or is it still too early? Just I'm thinking as like a good partner, maybe sometimes you try to get things ready, but not get not try to be away for too long, just in case.
Yeah, well, if you do something that Serafina would normally do, it would actually fuck her up. Probably. Like if you interrupt one of her routines, she probably would like you'll probably like just she couldn't like right. She's like, okay, I do this first, then I do this, then I do this, then I do this, right? And if you do the first thing for her, she's like, like right, like I'll just make another cup of coffee just in case, right? Like like yeah. I guess that's the whole like routine or it. So like if you
But what about a
interrupt,
cup of coffee for her rather than for Anya?
sure, yeah. If you do that, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah, like
She might be confused. Like why did you? Why, okay, thank right. Like she'll probably
yeah,
like,
just
thank you and be like
like
because
a
I mean like she
massive.
probably doesn't even drink coffee, but if you give it to her or make it for her, she's gonna drink it happily, right? Because you're the one giving it to her, making it for her. But she's not gonna question it.
Yeah, like they've known each other for years. Anya would know the likes and dislikes of like
Yeah, like I think I have it to where so
and you
like I
just
said,
like want to do nice things for your partner every now and again,
yeah,
no matter if you're dominant or submissive.
yeah. I think the nice things for Serafina is just um cuddling, I guess, like cuddling and hugging and showing that you care about her as a person, and also even like commanding her and stuff like that. Because if she can do stuff for you, it feels like she's proving her worth type deal. So she feels like happy to do things type deal, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Like it's usually like she's your good girl, right? Type deal. Like she gets to
Yeah,
prove that. Yeah.
and it's just that trying to show affections in other ways than just cuddling, because that could always be like seen as just like a mutual thing rather than no, let me show you
Well,
how
well,
I love
you
you.
don't cuddle like an equal position. right?
Okay, so cuddling, like, okay, I'm cuddling you, like, so my arm will be numb or something like that, but I'm doing this just to make
Yeah,
you
yeah.
more
Like
comfortable.
she's the little spoon. She's the submissive position, right? But you're, yeah,
The big spoon.
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Uh, who would say I love you first between the two? I'm thinking Anya if she has as the dominant one, or
Yeah. I would assume Seraphina just always felt that, right? But she just like was waiting for you, right? She has to wait for you to do these kind of things. Yeah.
Mhm. Anya would be conscientious not to say it in a time of distress, like just
Yeah, it's like a reward, like a
so.
good thing type thing, not a trying to console someone by saying it.
Yeah, not trying to console someone and not just saying, no, I'm only saying this to make you feel better. I'm
Yeah.
saying this because I genuinely mean it.
Yeah, that's normal. Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't try to use it to fix trauma.
yeah, no. That is something that literature and media do very poorly.
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't translate
Like
to
I know you're
real
having a really
life.
shitty time, but you need to know I love you. It's like I know you love me. Help me get through this shit now.
Yeah, I'm dealing with a lot of issues. I can't, like, you tell me you love me. That's great and all, but my dad's still dead.
Yeah.
Or my leg's still broken, or I'm still $500,000 in debt. Like, thank you, but now's not the time.
Yeah. And then they make out and go fuck and everything's fine. It's like, wait, what?
People like their simple stories.
Well, I mean, it's also like they're trying to show you can sweep that shit under the rug. And just like, we'll deal with it later. Right now, we're gonna go have fun.
Yeah, oh god, and all those, like, romance comedies with female lead.
I mean,
And,
it seems like it's okay when it's like we can deal with that later. We need to save the world type deal. Like,
right.
because it's like because you do have problems, but the world being destroyed is a bigger problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so sometimes it's okay to sweep it under the rug when the rug's the world being destroyed. Yeah, but or something else way worse. But when it's just like something silly, yeah, we can. Yeah, I know how to. Yeah. So yeah, so we got us a reason for three characters to get there, and Ragnar. We still need to know about Ragnar's character in order to get him there. But I assume Ragnar.
It's gonna be a frontline.
Yeah, he can
Brawler.
figure it out, and I'm pretty sure because of, like I said, it's weird, but like I said, like once people do a lot of work for characters, I find it real easy to come into a game. Because like I know so much about this picture that it's really easy for me to add to it, right? But when everyone's just like basic, like we're all adventurers, I'm like, guess I'm an adventurer too. Cool. I shouldn't add anything because you guys got nothing, right? But if I come in and hear like amazing stories from people, I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to make something awesome, right? And I want to add more to it. Yeah, I don't know. So, and even then, like Ragnar can just tell me three things about his character, and I can like think about our characters and how awesome they are, and I can figure out a way to make like his character equally as awesome from the three things he told me, right? Like, and I can just like throw him ideas, and he'd be like, "Yeah, that sounds cool. Let's do that." And I'm like, "Cool." So I can help him get to the level we're in once I hear things he wants to do.
Like, it'd be nice to play with him for once. I've been only hearing stories about him for the last couple of years.
Yeah, but he's gotten better. We'll see if he lost it in the last few months playing with other people. Just fell back into being some crazy person. Yeah, he just regressed back. Like, yeah.
I'm a bit disappointed that Murderous didn't want to join us.
Yeah, I predicted he wouldn't.
Yeah, but I'm still disappointed nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. I for some reason I predicted it, but I didn't have a reason why. And then when he pushed for that game, I'm like, oh, here's the reason. Because I don't want to play that.
Like, it's mechanically heavy, and He overloads mechanics.
No, that's not the reason. I just mean like he couldn't allow himself to accept anything else once we kind of shut him down because he's like, no, I can't be weak. So he's like, he has his mind's like made up already on what he wants to do, and if we tell him no, he's like, well, fuck you guys, I'm gonna do my own game with blackjack and hookers, and I'm like, okay.
Okay, Bender.
Yeah, I'm like, whatever, have fun. So like his mind was already made up. There was no way we can like change it. That's why when we started, I was trying to say like, maybe if you can persuade me, I can come over there and play that game instead. But right now I'm in this camp and I have a bunch of good reasons why. And then when he was just like, I can't explain why, but we need to do this. And I'm like, okay, you've lost this argument. You can't. Your mind's made up. No one's gonna change you. Trump's awesome. I got it. It doesn't matter how much bad stuff he does or we can prove. You're there. You're in that camp. Whatever.
Yeah,
Good luck.
Don't remind me of my primaries.
Yeah, or whatever. Right? You just can't reason with them, and that's fine. So we just moved past it.
To the extent you can reason with them, to the extent.
Yeah. The extent is just to agree to disagree, even though it's not really a disagreement here. It's pretty much just facts versus opinions.
Yeah, it was. I think the problem was he already had an idea for a system he wanted to play before we even started talking about it. That was.
Yeah, that's what I said. When he was like, oh yeah, every time I've done this, it was awesome. And I was like, really?
In one.
Yeah. That's why I asked him. I was like, how
shot.
many times? Like, he's like, one shot. And I was like, okay, how does it work like this? Like, how does this system work like this? I don't know. How does this work? I don't know. Like, you don't know nothing about this system. Like, what do you mean it's good? Like, I'm like, I'm sorry, murderers, but you are doing a horrible job trying to persuade me to this game. Other than you saying it's awesome, trust me. And I'm like, what is your, like, have you been playing this for like a decade? Like, I'll take your word for that one, right? Because when I say like, hey, Fate's cool, but it has these problems, like, you can trust my opinion on this because I've been pushing this shit forever, right? Or when I say, here are the problems with 5th edition or with Roll20 systems, again, you can trust me because I've been doing this forever. But when you're just trying to like tell me this thing's awesome and you know nothing about it, I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't take your word on that. And then when you're trying to like, okay, let's not even worry about that. Let's just worry about like you trying to explain to me why a system with mechanics is better, because you've played a system with mechanics forever, 5th edition and other editions like that with mechanics. Can you explain to me why, in your opinion, mechanics are better than not mechanics? And when your response is, they just are, I can't explain it. And I'm like, okay, let me explain the 30, 40, 50 reasons off the top of my head without even me having to think why it's not. Right? It's like, you're not going to win this argument. Like, so.
I remember bringing points to help her in that case.
Yeah.
It keeps everyone on the same page, more or less, especially those who are super
well acquainted. Yeah. But then my argument to that is we're not playing with like new people. Like 5th edition is an extremely good game.
Though. I mean, at least
mechanics?
I'm talking about playing with new people as far as I've never played with Nessa or Ragnar.
No, I mean people that are new to understanding mechanics. Like, because that argument is meant for people. It keeps people that don't know like how to play a game. It allows it to make it easier for them to play a game. And I'm like, that is true.
It does make it easier to play a game, but also makes it easier for people who aren't well acquainted with each other to play a game. What I've learned through playing with different people throughout the 8 years I've played D&D, it's just you can know the same game, know the rules, but they don't always. But you playing together don't always mesh well because you're going in with different mindsets. And
well, that's okay.
Show a different way of how.
I can counter argue all this.
Like rules do help with some grounding, some of it. So you have some common ground to elaborate on.
If you're coming to a game wanting to role play, and that's all you care about doing, then mechanics don't matter because you don't care about that. But if you're coming into a game wanting to play it like a video game with mechanics and stuff, then yes, games with mechanics work a lot better with that because it keeps people on the same page power level wise, right? D&D tries to make all the things very balanced, and hopefully no one's more overpowered than anyone else. But that's not true, because I can make broken ass characters that can do hundreds of damage a turn, where someone else can make one that does 12, and they feel like shit. Jose quit a game because he's like, you make the game boring because you're way stronger than us. I'm like, I'm just playing the game. The game says I can do this. Where in something like Fate, it says, hey, don't do that. Try not to be overpowered, right? Try to make sure everyone's on the same page. D&D does a horrible job at that, mechanically. Because it tells you just to make a cool-ass character that wins the game, right? So, counterpoint, my game is better for that. Or Fate's better for that. Because it actually tells you and addresses those concerns. Now, if you're saying, like, people that don't know each other very well are coming together, and you can't really play a very, like, heavy roleplay game together because you don't know each other very well, that is true. And if you just rush into a game, session 1, make your character, here's my character, let's start playing, yes, that will happen. That happens in D&D all the time. That's why you have multiple session zeros to try and get to know each other, understand what do you want from this game? What are you trying to accomplish in this game? How do you feel about this, right? Like, that's why I say we do as many session zeros as we need to all get on the same page. That goes for any game. The only difference is, in D&D, it happens a lot quicker because most people don't give a fuck about that part of the game. Because D&D pushes that part of the game down. Because, like, what? I'm got it. I'm good. I'm a warlock. I'm a tiefling. And my god is whatever. I went fiend pack. I'm done. What else do I need? It's like, well, what is your backstory? I sold my soul to the god to get the power. Obviously, because I'm a warlock.
I'd say that's general community rather than the system
Yes,
itself.
the community. Yes, but that community breeds that.
The lore within the book of each subclass and each race, along with giving you ideas between Xanathars, players can look of how to approach it, actually has some good ideas.
Sure.
However,
But no one does those things. Everyone just looks at D&D because it's already there as, this is the game you kill monsters and go on cool adventures as, and you roleplay by just talking as a character, as this character now.
yes, that's why I'm talking specifically about the system in that case, rather than the community built around
Yeah.
it.
Well, the system breeds that, because my game, you can't do that. That will not work in my game. You cannot play my game like that. You can play D&D like that. So it allows people to be lazy. And if people can be lazy, they will be lazy. But, like, right, like, if I can be a professional football player by sitting on the sidelines and getting paid millions of dollars, I'll do that shit right now. But you don't get that. You have to be a good football player to be a professional football. You have to put the work in to be a professional football player. But if there was a game that allowed me to be lazy and make millions of dollars to sit on the side, I'll do it. No big deal. Right? Why would people put the work in if they don't have to? So in D&D, you don't have to. You can have fun without putting the work in. So people don't put the work in. That's why I was saying in my game, we don't have to do that. But none of that matters because we are experienced players for the most part, like our last game. But, you know, Vanessa's still new. But Vanessa, when I said, hey, do you want to play D&D? She said, fuck no. I don't want to deal with all those mechanics. So I said, well, we're not playing D&D. We're actually playing my game. She's like, oh, hell yeah, then I'll play my game, right? Like, so...
I should have asked you why I play D&D. That's your first question.
Yeah, I always just say D&D because I think that's just all I have. Like, right, people always assume, like, you like dubstep? Yeah, I like Skrillex, right? It's like, what? It's like, yeah, it's just like when I say TTRPG, like, do you want to play a TTRPG with us? It's usually like, yeah, I want to play D&D, and I'm like, oh, okay. They're like, what's a TTRPG? It's like D&D. Like, okay, cool, yeah, I'll play D&D. So I was just trying to, like, put out the point, like, we don't need to have our like handheld by D&D or by mechanics because we're good enough that we don't need them. And then the other people don't like them. Like, Vanessa doesn't want to play a mechanically heavy game. She wants to play a roleplay game. Because the first thing I did with her was a roleplay session. Like, I just wanted to see, like, how good of a... Because when I look for people to play D&D with me or whatever, I don't care how mechanically good you are. I don't give a fuck about that. I care about if you're going to be able to roleplay or not. So I just straight up wanted to test her in roleplay. So I just did, like, a roleplay scenario with her, which I wish I recorded, because I thought it was going to be, like, a few minutes, and she's going to be like, oh, yeah, I can talk to people. But it was actually really well, and Ragnar did really well as well. And I was like, fuck. If people are like, I don't want to play Ragnar, he sucks, I can be like, watch this, right? And people are like, oh, shit, Ragnar's actually pretty good. And I'm like, yeah. So, like, I'm sad I didn't record that, but every single thing I didn't record, I wish I recorded, and everything I record, I don't really care that I recorded. Yeah. So like right now, it's recording, and I actually want to record this, so I know it's gonna get fucked up. I assume the volume's not on or something. I know it's not. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to get pissed off right now. I'll get pissed off later. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way when myself and Murderous were having that accidental 2-hour roleplay session.
Yeah, right? Yeah, just a roleplay session. That's what me, Vanessa, and Ragnar did. It was really good. It was like 3 hours of just roleplay.
Yeah. I felt like, and I assume the same really like one of the better ones you've had.
Yep. That's why when I was like, that's why I asked Vanessa every time we do a game, like, do you want to play? Because you were fun to roleplay with. And then when I was like, cool, she's ready to. She's like if we were like, yeah, okay, Murderous, we did our game. We decided that we'll do your way. You can come back and play with us, right? Because we need the person. But if Vanessa was like, I'll play your game, but I won't play that, I'll be like, okay, I rather Vanessa than Murderous thing because I rather play my game than the thing Murderous wants, right? I would be okay dropping Murderous for Vanessa to do a better roleplay game. Yeah, or a less mechanical roleplay game. Because it's basically like we're getting a good person either way. I'd rather do the thing that I want to do. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess it's all good. We have a reason to get to the starting point. Maybe we should think of our like character goals or something like that. Like, because I think this is more on you, Surprise, because your goal is probably going to be my character's goal as well, or something along the lines, right? Yeah. So I don't know what other than like getting a business. Do you have any other aspirations that you want to do? Or Josh, do you have any other like in your wildest dreams, Surprise? What, like, because I mean, like, we also could have the choice of the MacGuffin thing, right? Like that can be a like you can get a wish, right? And you're like, I want that wish to get everything I wanted, but I don't think Anya wants a wish, right? She doesn't want to. She doesn't want to.
Anya is following Kylo's, I guess, thing of.
Yeah.
No, I can. Yeah. I'm doing things with my own hands, my own way.
That's the same Artemis said. Like Artemis probably wouldn't have used the wish really at all. Like she would have probably used the wish just so you guys couldn't use the wish to fuck with her. Yeah. Because, like, if Victor's wish is to kill, she's like, wait, no, I'm one of those gods. No, fuck you. You can't, right?
So, would Anya ever want to be a queen or no? You think that's too big, too grandiose?
If she thinks she could be a queen with Seraphina?
Yeah, technically Seraphina can be a queen.
Yeah, I mean... I'm not sure if Anya knows Seraphina's royalty.
Yeah, Seraphina doesn't know that either. No. Yeah. But I'm saying this is the stuff we're making up, right? Like as we figure things out. So the idea is if we plan to like push that eventually, we can say like you wanted to be a queen from the beginning, and then we can give reasons why, and then as we push, we figure out the reason why we can do that type deal, right?
Yeah. Like, are we doing queens as elected officials, or?
Wait, what did you say?
Are queens being elected officials, or is just like?
They can be.
Okay. Well.
They were. So I assume it's by blood, and then if the blood isn't working, then they're like, no, we gotta get some other blood in there.
No, so the queen in most places are elected. But the more like old school places tend to have the legacy or dynasty stuff.
So is Blisswing one of those? Because you said I have a right. Okay, so I have a right to the throne or something like that because I'm one of the sisters. So because I was saying it's more like Wakandan, right? Because Killmonger technically didn't have a right to the throne because he wasn't like the firstborn son or whatever, right? He was like the nephew. But it was like, but he like you don't have to fight him. It's like, nah, I want to, right? So like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, why T'Challa? Why You have a perfectly good spot here. You don't need to do this in any sense, but
That's so fucked up. They needed to make Killmonger cheat. That's so that rubs me the wrong way. They fucked that story up.
yeah. I mean, he was already having the upper hand before. It's like, why?
Yeah, why does he? This doesn't feel very heroic. like he's the true kid. I mean, if he I don't know, like what, like now T'Challa's the one that's coming in trying to like, he's coming in as like the fucking Black Panther cheating and shit. It's like, what happened to your heritage stuff? It's like, no, fuck that shit. I need to be Black Panther, and he's not gonna do things right. It's like, then why did you give him a chance? Yeah, it's one of those things like where like he was like, I got this, I'm the hero, and then he got his ass beat, and he's like, wait a second, this is how it's supposed to go. I'm supposed to be like benevolent and allow him to have a chance, and then whoop his ass and say like, you'll never beat me because I'm a true hero or a true good guy, right? And you're just an evil piece of shit, right? It's like,
You
yeah,
gave him a chance, and he won.
yeah,
He's a big
he
man.
won fairly. That was the problem.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
He needed to cheat. That's all he needed was to cheat. If T'Challa cheated, or not T'Challa, if Killmonger cheated, it would have been fine. Everything would have been fine. Everything would have been perfectly fine and made sense. Like if he cheated, but no one knew how he cheated. Yeah, until like the very end, and then like when someone like, oh, I seen this on my telescope thing from space or some bullshit when I rewatched the fight, or something like that. When his sister does that or something, like rewatches the fight and sees that he cheated. Yeah.
yeah, just something that bothered me about that movie. So technologically advanced, but this is how you choose your ruler.
Yeah, so that old school stuff, right? That's why I said. That's why it's like, yeah, that like it's more advanced, but people still keep the more bloodline thing. But if they're like, okay, we gotta say like, it's not just like the firstborn son because like they're queens, right? So it's more of like someone in the bloodline can take the spot or something. Whoever's most like is right fair. But if people are like, I don't think this queen's doing very well, maybe we should let her cousin try, right? Like that's probably like pushes for that, right? So like that's why I said like the drama could be like if eventually the queen finds out that Serafina exists, she's like, I gotta get rid of her because people don't think I'm doing very well, and if people know that she exists, they might push for her or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be a later thing.
So that's already an issue going on because there's a set of twins that have been proven to be more powerful than Corin's lineage, and they casted out the sister in Central.
Corin?
Yeah, Corin's the angel queen. Well, I guess never.
Oh, they cast her out?
No, Corin cast out Raven, which is one of the twins.
Oh, so Raven she has a twin that she casted out.
It's totally different family. So the twins from another family have proven themselves to be more powerful than leading family.
Which family is that?
So Corin's family, her lineage, her family line, or whatever.
Who is Corin?
Corin's the angel, the one that's in Blister.
So she's been casted out.
No, Raven has been cast out. One of the twins.
So Corin kicked out Raven.
Yes.
Corin kicked out Raven.
Right.
So she couldn't, because I assume they're powerful together.
No, the twins are just naturally powerful. Like they can rule the entire continent or the entire place.
Okay, so there are these two people that are each individually more powerful than Corin,
Yes.
and Corin has casted one out for some reason.
Yes.
And is it a very much bullshit reason, but it's seems bullshit, but it's still kind of valid, or is it just like fuck out? I'm scared of you.
Well, she's made up like framed or.
Yeah, she framed. Okay, yeah. It's like it's some like people assume it's probably some bullshit reason, but if it's not, then it's justified. But it's probably some. Yeah. Okay.
Making it seem as if it's just.
Yeah, and then like eventually she's probably gonna try to do the other one too.
Right. Well, actually, the other one, the brother, actually is a Corin, so he works as a knight.
Oh, okay. So he's already like loyal, kinda.
Yeah.
Okay. So like people might also think like her with the brother on her side is more powerful than if the brother took over by themselves or something.
Perhaps.
And yeah. But people like that's probably like the first initial thought. But then once they see like maybe her fucking up or doing something wrong, then it's probably like I'd rather him just be in charge, even though we would be weaker as a whole. It would be better as a ruler.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Or if they see her like commanding him to do something that he feels is not right, and then when it happens, it isn't right, and they're like, see, he knew better, right? Like, yeah, things like that. But it's also queens. Is it just, do you have to be a queen, or can a king take over if they needed one?
King take over.
It just so happens that they're all just queens right now.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And there's no one that there's no couples, right? Does anyone have a significant other in any kind of way?
Queens?
Yeah, any of them.
Let me look over just to make sure. I don't. Special carry.
And is this and them also finding a significant other, is that a thing that people look up upon, down upon? Like, is it like, oh, you found someone that's equal to you, cool, we have even like a stronger like leader now of like both of you?
So the first three, I haven't set for to be anybody, but they can potentially. But typically no. I'm just saying.
Or is it like whoever marries the person in charge is more like a first lady, like they don't really have any power, like they're just there?
Yeah, they just join the family through marriage. And
Yeah, it's not like typical things now where like technically the king will right, or the significant like, yeah, it's like a weird thing because I actually don't even know the rules to that. Like if all the men die out of the family, so the queen takes over. But if she were to marry someone, does the king take over now? Like they become king and then she takes like they take over? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if like the last of the bloodline is a queen, then if they marry a king, is the queen now still in charge and like right or
could the queen appoint a confidant in their absence, like an advisor or general?
Yeah, but I think in the way this works now is there is no such thing as a person more like your sex doesn't matter what you are. Like you're just like, if you're a female you're a queen, if you're a male you're a king, but king isn't over queen. It's just whoever is in charge is the one that's in charge, and
ruling body.
Yeah, and it like they still just use old things like king and queen, but there's probably a word they use instead, like leader or ruler or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, I think the Queen of England was in charge the entire 70-year year when she did marry, so...
Yeah. Because it was like the bloodline thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then even when she had a son, he didn't take over. Like she didn't give like it. I guess he takes over now. I don't know, but
yeah, Philip.
Yeah. So I was thinking about Game of Thrones, right? How Cersei took over. Yeah, and I was like, I guess if she marries whoever, it doesn't really matter. She's still gonna take over. She's still, yeah. Yeah. Okay. But the idea is, it would probably be a weird thing of if Serafina does become queen, then she would probably put Anya in charge, right? Or like I said, the confidant thing or something.
Yeah. She could be the Jafar, the sneaky advisor.
Yeah. Or like it could be one like, this is my wife, we're gonna rule together, right? Type deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's kind of like more or less the perfect plan. Anya would want to establish her name, so, and like make an impact on the world, but would want to live a good life with Serafina. I mean, what's better than with your girlfriend you've known since childhood becoming your wife? Kind of like the perfect dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I assume your main goal is to blow up. It's like,
Yeah.
you don't know nobody no more. Okay. Yeah. So your goal.
Living in that deep.
think it's still one of my favorite memes. I don't know why. I think I just like Riff Raff as a person. One of my favorite people. He'd have like a favorite person, like just list so people can read it. Like, who the fuck are these people? Like they did one really funny thing, and I looked into them, and like, oh, there's a really cool person. And like, oh, I didn't know anything about these people. Like, yeah.
Oh, maybe you should.
Yeah. Like, why do you have Charlie Chaplin on your list? Like, he did a really good speech once, and I looked into him. He's a good dude, even though he didn't say shit.
Throughout most of his movies, he doesn't say.
Yeah. But the one time he does say something, he knocks it out of the fucking park. The best speech of all time.
Yeah, I think that's more on the writers than it was on him. But,
I mean, he delivered it.
Yeah, he was a good. He was well acted. It was well directed.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, when I say like my favorite actor, like
Wow,
Swartz, Christoph Swartz, yeah, or whatever. Like his, yeah, the guy in Django is the doctor. The guy in Inglourious Bastards is the
Oh, that.
yeah,
Hans.
Is it Hans? Yeah, Hans is in Inglourious Bastards. Yeah. Like every performance I've seen him in, he just knocks it out of the park, and I'm just like. I mean, the writers do write these roles, but when you knock everyone out of the park, it's like, I think this is you, right? Like,
it's also you.
Yeah, right?
Because you can put the best actor, but if you give him a garbage script, and
like when people say
insisting
like Jared Leto was a bad Joker, I'm like, nah, he did amazing in that role. It's just that Joker people didn't like. Like, he portrayed that Joker really well. It's just no one was like, what the fuck Joker is this?
Not a good Joker for everyone.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was cool. Like, I thought for whatever they were trying to go for, I'm like, yeah, that Joker reimagined is very different. And I can still tell, like, yeah, that's the Joker. He's just like a more modern Joker. Like, that Joker can be in the world right now. Yeah. It's just like...
Yes and no. I just found that Joker too in your face to be... Like, I know Joker's supposed to be a clown, but...
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, he wasn't a clown really.
Joker wasn't like a clown, and really, where he was just a gangster with.
Yeah, that's what the Joker was. Yeah, that Joker was just a gangster. Yeah, that's why I said it can fit into like a more modern setting of being a gangster and everyone fearing them because you're a crazy person.
Yeah.
Like Tony Montana or whatever, right? Like it's just Tony Montana with fucking makeup on. Yeah, but. Like but it's not it's not like cartoony in any kind of way. Like it's just a crazy person. But I think the idea is people put him through a cartoony was like, this is weird. Yeah, and it's like, well, not the same thing, right? Like Heath Ledger's Joker was kind of the same way of like not very cartoony, but just being like but that Joker matched kind of the Joker, right? But it was still more modernized. But I think they went too far. They trying to make him too real. Yeah.
Like are you talking with Heath Ledger or Jared Leto?
Jared Leto's Joker, they're trying to make him too real. Heath Ledger's Joker, they made him real but still fit the Joker.
Right. What I found with the Joker, what I understand, how he's usually portrayed is more of a force of nature than it is an actual person.
Yeah.
So that's why Heath Ledger's performance, Heath Ledger's role as the Joker was more of a concept.
Yes, so like how you said the writers, right? Like in this position, the writers sucked with this Joker, but also the Suicide Squad sucked as a movie because they tried to cram too much shit in. Like if they actually,
we're talking about the old one.
The old one, yeah, the Suicide Squad.
Okay.
Yeah, not the new one. The new one's fine. Like the old one, they put too much shit in it. So they couldn't even show the Joker very much. So you just see him popping up doing shit that are like, what the fuck's going on, right? But if they actually made sense of this Joker throughout the movie. Like if he got his own movie, like Harley Quinn the Joker, right? Like that Joker might.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that was like the backstory, different dimension again. But I mean, saying if they wanted to make this Joker work, you have to actually make this Joker make sense first for it to work. Then when you throw him in a movie as like a side character, you're like, oh yeah, that's the Joker from the other movie. I remember him. I remember understanding him from the other movie. So all this stuff he's doing makes sense now to me, right? Not just like, what the fuck's going on with this Joker, right? Like, because you in your head have the Joker from another one, and like that doesn't make sense for what he's doing, right? This Joker doesn't make sense for the other, but it's not the same Joker, right? It's a different character almost. But so they never gave this Joker a character, enough character to make it make sense. So like everyone's just taking it from other Jokers and like this doesn't make sense. But yeah, like it could have been a good Joker if they just made it a good Joker, like it explained it better. And I think that's why like people didn't really like even Harley Quinn that much originally, but other than like, oh, she's hot. But then as she gets as she got more movies and blah blah blah, they're like, okay, it's fine, right? I get it. Yeah, that's why in this next movie that the next Joaquin Phoenix joke, like you know, Harley Quinn's gonna be in it, and it's supposed to be Lady Gaga, and I assume this whole thing's gonna like be the story of this Joker and this Harley, right? And that's gonna be it. So it's gonna be very much explaining. It's not gonna be like, hey, look, it's Lady Gaga as Joker. Yeah, see her kind of ass cheeks hanging. That's cool. Yeah, she's hot. Good enough. And then like she just walks away, and it's like whatever, right? They're probably actually gonna like she's gonna have a character. Yeah. So whatever. Like that's just like just the character idea. Like that's why it's like this stuff that we're doing now, like heavily creating stories that make this stuff make sense. So it's not just like I said, when the stupid character rips the curtains off the fucking window in the inn, and people are like, oh, that's funny, you're stupid, I get it. And I'm going like, this is stupid as fuck. And they're like, yeah, he's stupid, right? I'm like, no, this doesn't make sense at all. Like, yeah, because he's like, no. This doesn't make sense. Like, this is bad. This is bad roleplay. This doesn't make sense. Like, but why? He's being stupid. He's a stupid character. It's like, yeah, but is this the first time you ever went into an inn? It's like, no, I'm an adventurer. I've been an adventurer for like forever. It's like, so you've been in inns before? Like, yes. You've seen curtains before? Yes. But this is the first time you decided to rip them off the wall? Is there a reason? It's like, well, I wanted a cape. And I'm like, so did you just want a cape now? And what made you want a cape? It's like, nothing. Like, you just thought cape in your head and your curtains. Like, have you seen someone rip curtains off the wall before and do this? And that's why you thought you can do this? Like, no. Does your character not understand what curtains do? It's like, well, no. Like, I understand. Like, they block sun because I've interacted with curtains before. I'm like, then why the fuck did you do this? Like, because I'm stupid. It's like, but it doesn't make any sense. like if there was something that like you've seen a guy like taking down the curtains and putting more curtains up maybe, and if you've seen like someone that was wearing a cape that looked just like the curtains and you were like, oh, we can do this, so you ripped it off the right. That can be reason for your stupidity.
Doing a bit in the middle of a tavern.
Yeah, right.
You need a cape to sell it.
Yeah.
The
Like,
only thing you got is a curtain. Okay, sure.
Yeah, but that's more of a smart thing to do, right? Not a stupid thing to do.
I mean,
right? Now the reason why he did it is because he was going under the assumption his character just spawned into existence in this first session, right? But he hasn't. He's lived a life before this. But because he hasn't but if in his past life, on his story thing, he said, oh, the first time I went into an inn, I seen the curtains. First time seeing curtains, I thought you can make them capes. I ripped it off the wall. Right? If that's in his backstory, like if he makes a story, like he says, he walks in and sees curtains, and he's like, oh shit, I remember this. Is like, what? It's like, nah, embarrassing thing in my past where I thought curtains were capes, right? And then he explains this to the players, and everyone laughs and gets the same laugh. That makes sense. That's perfect, right? Explaining how stupid you are. That's a good story. That's a good backstory. That's good, like, fuel. But no one cares about their character or cares about their backstory or cares about any of this because they're there to kill monsters and get experience and level up. So, like, to me, like, this kind of stuff is like, I love this shit. I love making up characters and having good story for them make sense. So I have a very good idea in my head of who these people are, so I know exactly how to roleplay them. So when a situation pops up, I don't have to spend 5 minutes thinking, like, how should my lawful good character interact with this situation of the child that's in danger? It's like, well, you're lawful good, so you should probably save them. It's like, yes, that would be my motivation. I am lawful good, so I will save them. It's like, did you really need to think about that? It's like that seems like a no-brainer one. It's like, yeah. And then they go like, cool, I saved them. And then it's like, oh, I'm being rewarded. Awesome. I'll take the reward. And I'm like, maybe you shouldn't. It's like, why? It's like, because you're lawful good, right? It's like, yeah. You just saved this kid from the burning village, and now you're taking a reward from the villagers that obviously need this money to rebuild their village. Your response should be like, no thanks. I'm the good guy, right? You keep your money. You need it more than me, right? And they're like, oh yeah, I should do that. And then I'm like, thanks. And I'm like, yeah, you might need to think about your character a little bit more, and not because you're gonna constantly be fucking up your character, right? And then like, you know what? I'm just gonna be evil. It's a lot easier. And I'm like, yeah, there you go. It's because you know how to be evil. You just be you, but extreme. You just do whatever the fuck you want. Yep. People can't handle being good. It's too hard. It's too hard. Yep. So doing this kind of stuff is really cool. I like thinking ahead and planning ahead. Because technically, my characters live longer me not controlling them than me controlling them. So I need to know, right? It's like if you get a dog from someone else that had him for like, you know, most of their life. And then you're like, cool, dog, and then you start doing things with it. Like you just randomly get it food, you're like, you should be asking the owner like, what kind of food did they like? What was their daily routine? What was blah 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 blah, right? So you know how to treat the dog properly when you get it. So in my head, I'm basically taking control of a character that wasn't mine for several years, and I need to know more about it so I know how to control it better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so... Yeah, so there's probably going to be lots of random things as things come up, like how it is interacted or something like that. So, throughout past life surprises, anything come up? Like how you said, like the crying situation, right? Is anything else come up that was like bigger or smaller in their relationship that I should know or probably think about? Or probably just give you an answer because I probably don't think about it. I could probably figure it out pretty.
Let's see.
Like because I know like Serafina has probably not interacted with your parents, but seen them.
No, she would have interacted with them at least.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know they would at least seen them even when they were kids, right? Because I assume when you first like made friends with her, you were
definitely
like
definitely at younger ages.
Yeah. But what about at older ages?
Older ages, Anya would have tried to, I guess, after college, kind of keep some distance, so she wouldn't go to the house as much.
Gotcha. But it'd be actually only be going for reasons, and then those reasons are pretty much like very scarce reasons, like
scarce reasons, or if like or you know, like every once in a while you want to see your parents, and just because you haven't seen them in a while, or they ask, hey, can you come over, have a family dinner?
Mm-hmm. Would you bring Serafina for family dinners?
Yeah. Tyler was pretty open-minded, and Daggy doesn't really care.
Yeah. So, but your parents would know that that's your girlfriend, pretty much, right?
Oh yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Tyler would probably know before even Anya knew at the time.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. What would Serafina feel being with the, like, you, Spike, already know how Tylo is, and Daggy's more or less a blank slate to you. Like, how would Serafina feel around them?
You probably would want to heavily impress them because of the way you act makes her think that you're constantly trying to impress people. Oh, that's a good question. So when you're around your parents, are you a lot more relaxed, or are you still trying to be even more to show them that you're awesome or something like that, or you're very like right, or how do you act around your parents?
She is polite, but actually would be more relaxed if it's just them. If there's other guests around, like, let's say...
Yeah, I'm trying to see if Serafina will eventually read the room and be like, okay, sure. So
Yeah,
I think Serafina would want to try, like, I think this is when she, like how I said, that she's be more etiquette and stuff like that. maybe if she's around your mom, which maybe, or I don't know, is Daggy older, like very proper and stuff? Because I don't think Daggy's ever had the charm school training.
Daggy is more direct. Like she understands when someone's hurt or when someone feels something.
Well, the idea. Okay, so how you
Yeah.
say you don't want to bring shame to your family, but does your family bring shame to itself? Like, I don't understand. Like, if there's like a big dinner with a bunch of like proper guests, is Tylo the idiot at the table or something, or is he like the goofball, the friendly guy? He's not the like pompous guy, right? Like, or is he? Does he play the part?
Tylo has mellowed out more over the years. He's still friendly and approachable, though you wouldn't hear him just talk about absolutely crude story. I mean, he doesn't really tell crude stories unless, like, even in our last campaign or our campaign on hiatus. How should I? Tylo would allow for like would if the party
He reads the room. He reads the room. Like if people are telling a crude story, then he might say a crude story, but he's not going to be one that brings them up.
Yes. He reads the room. He is mindful of the task at hand. If this is more of a business dinner or
Like if it's a business dinner, you're not going to be the big goofball. You're going to act somewhat business oriented, but not going to be like when everyone's just being serious. You're not going to be like, wow, you guys are all sticks in the mud. Let's have a little fun and do a congo. Like you're not going to do anything stupid like that. You would actually be the businessman and do what you need to do, but not like overly do it like how Anya wants to do, where she wants to be the business like woman in the room, like the most one, to show how, the overachiever. Yeah.
And and when they ever go out for like family events and bring Victor, Kai, just kind of the whole group. I guess Artemis, if they ever want to see the rest of the party, like throughout Anya's time growing up.
Sure.
Just having some outings together, enjoying the days. That's when Tyler would really unwind or really cut loose, and Anya would be more so, at least when she was younger, was far more adventurous. She didn't have the grit, but at the time she was doing fencing, but wasn't very good at it.
That's probably not a thing you like. I need to be better at fencing right now. Like you probably like I have more important things to deal with.
Yeah. It's like, okay, either wave a stick around or cause magic from my fingertips.
Yeah, like the
I like magic
or
more.
like the pin is mightier than the sword type deal, right? Like
Exactly. So she would just go around. So Anya would actually love to roughhouse with her parents when she was younger, try to keep that more or less to herself.
mm-hmm.
But she is but Anya deep down is very physically affectionate, but has to keep distance for face.
Yeah. So you might even be trying to like so when you act all like proper and stuff, like you might even like show face, like keep face in front of your parents, because the idea is you want them to take you as a serious person now, because you're trying to be serious, but like they know probably deep down you're not, but you're like, no, I'm serious, I'm a savvy businesswoman now, mom and dad, like, right, like stop treating me like a child.
Yeah.
So your outlet for like affections probably with Serafina, because it's like you can let your hair down around her type deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because
you're not proving anything to
Anya
her.
Was like upset or just like really angry, but not at her parents. She just give like a stone cold face, walk up to him and plop her face on her chest, like on either of their chests, just like wanting to be held.
Yeah. Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like I said, like you're not trying to prove anything to Seraph. So like you've already But she accepts you for just who you are, not what you're. Yeah. But everyone, you're trying to still show everyone else that you need to. Yeah.
Yeah, basically that. Okay, you guys say you believe in me because you're my parents, but you don't actually believe in me. So I'm going to prove it.
Yeah. That I. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
if you didn't know me, you wouldn't believe in me, type deal. If you didn't know me, you would think that I'm only where I am because of my. Yeah. It's like stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what she thinks, even with her own parents. She doesn't think that with Serafina, because, well, actually, she doesn't think that as much with Serafina.
Well, there's
still that bit
nothing.
of
There's
doubt.
nothing. Well, Well, I think the reason why you don't is because there's nothing you need to prove to her, right? Like she doesn't care about status stuff, and like you know that, right? She doesn't care about any of that kind of stuff, so like you don't need to. Yeah.
It's more of that idea that she doesn't want to disappoint Serafina. Like, she can tell that she looks at her with I guess with high regards.
Yeah.
And
But it's high regards for what. Yeah. Yeah.
But if she fails to meet the expectations of her being able to even
Okay.
hit her own goals, maybe Serafina will see her as a failure and just try, and while maybe not leave her, not really admire her like she
Yeah.
used to.
So the idea isn't like trying to prove something you like trying to prove that you can do it on your own, but with Sarah, it's something different, right? It's more like trying to trying to keep like however Serafina feels about you, you don't want to lose that pretty much. So you're scared to lose that by failing. So you still have to try in order to. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Sure.
Yeah,
it's a different feeling. It's a different feeling, but still a feeling of.
It looks the same on the surface until you dig into it.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, other people is more of like wanting wanting them to accept you, but Seraphine's already accepted you, so you're scared to lose that acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because again, the only people outside of Anya's parents, or I guess Anya's family,
Sure.
yeah, would be Serafina. And even with the parents, it's like, okay, we love you unconditionally, but okay, Serafina loves me unconditionally, quote unquote, until I mess up.
That you think,
So, yeah. But I don't know that unless that happens, but I don't want to risk losing that
Yeah.
if that happens. So I'm not allowed to fail.
Yeah, and then in reality, there's no way you can mess up to her. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you won't lose that no matter what, but that's probably when you realize that, like, okay, yeah, that's. Yeah.
Okay. So, uh, Serafina's 21 now, right?
I think so. That can change based off what we need.
Yeah, yeah. But when they met, around 11, 12, basically, like, when did the two officially start dating? Start to date?
That's on you because, like I said, Serafina probably didn't know it until you straight up told it to her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you could have been like the first time they talked, like, oh, you're cool, like you're gonna be my like pet, like okay, right? But then like pet could be a dingy word for girlfriend or something, like girlfriend / pet, right?
Yeah, I think
I'll take care of you.
Too early.
Yeah, but I mean, it might have been more like you're gonna be my pet, not in a BDSM kinky way, but more like I'm gonna take care of you and make sure no one, right, stuff like that. Like okay, right? It was be more of like a yeah.
Yes, you are my loyal guard dog. You will protect me whenever.
That's like a weird thing to do, right? But it's more of like you're gonna protect her because like Vixen's like Serafina's not a good guard dog.
Okay. Fair enough. Basically, yeah, I will guide. Actually, I thought Serafina. Okay, so So we're changing the canonical story of like Seraphina being the stronger one that was always going to protect her, because that's what we had for Vixen.
Vixen's not very strong.
Yeah,
Vixen's not good at
but
anything. She's just durable.
right. But I remember Vixen, I guess how you said at the start was she was like, "Oh, okay, let me show this kid around." It's like, "Oh, okay, you got."
Yeah. That's when Vixen first comes up. Vixen hasn't been around yet, right? It's Seraphina and yeah.
I'm just saying what we talked about last week.
Yeah. So whenever Vixen gets created, like, so the idea would be Vixen somehow gets created through your help trying to make Seraphina stronger, and then now Seraphina is stronger, has a stronger personality. But the thing is, Anya can't be with Vixen 24/7. So when Vixen goes off to go be Vixen somewhere, she starts settling more into Vixen. And then when Vixen starts getting more expectations or wants to be like, I'm going to be the leader here, right? I'm going to have a reputation, because when she gets a reputation, people start maybe following her or wanting to be part of a gang with her or something, right? So then when she's like, cool, I'm in charge, I'm the boss, right? So when she goes back to, Anya, she's like, oh yeah, I'm in charge, I'm the boss, right? And then Vixen thinks she's in charge and she's the boss when with Anya and everyone else. But then you're like, yeah, that's how you do it. You're the charge, you're the boss, right? You gotta tell them that. But maybe Anya doesn't realize what's going on, like, because she thinks, oh, she's talking to Seraphina and she's just playing out this part that I made. But then you're like, well, wait, no, what's going on? And you figure out like there's a different personality or something eventually, or maybe it's too late. So at some point, right, you figure out there's multiple personalities, but then by that time you leave to go to school, and then Vixen gets to be Vixen for like years or whatever, and then it's just like set, which you feel is in stone. So I was even going to say, once you come back and you find Vixen, you're like, oh no, Seraphina's gone, like forever. Like you talk to her, you try to get Seraphina to come out, and she won't come out, kind of deal, right? Because it's too far gone. But then that's when she gets beat up and defeated, right? Maybe you say when Seraphina comes back, I'll be here at this house or something like that, right? So when Vixen gets defeated and beat up and she gets scared and she like retreats with her tail between her legs, that's when like Seraphina comes back and goes and finds Anya again.
Yeah. And literally moments earlier, she was in a tub of Ben and Jerry or something.
Yeah.
And like elegantly puts everything together, walks out and says, may I help you today? Or
There you are. Like, I thought I lost you, right? Like,
are you coming for some tea?
I'm thinking of like, you ever seen Lost Boys?
No.
Or not Lost Boys, Hook, movie Hook.
Yes, I've watched Hook.
Yeah, lots of time. Yeah. So it's one of my favorite movies. So like, in the scene when everyone's like looking around, like, you're not Peter Pan, you're not, and like the little kid like walks up to him and touches his face and says, oh, there you are, Peter, right? Like, looking for someone else that's not that, right? Like, the more like, oh, there you are, like, type thing, right? Like, there's my girlfriend, I thought I lost you. Yeah, the person under the person. Yeah. But I assume at that point, like, that's when you realize that there's something happening, and you gotta figure out like a balance of how to keep Seraphina out over Vixen and stuff like that. But if you realize, like, you would probably realize, like, okay, if I went away from her for 2 years and she was Vixen this whole time without Seraphina ever coming out, and that's what got her to stick there, and when really bad happens, all I have to do is keep her as Seraphina for a while, and then I wouldn't have to worry about Vixen coming out unless something really bad happens. But if I make it to where nothing really bad ever happens and Vixen never comes out ever again, then she should eventually go away, right? But that's the point of just saying they're merging, right? Because like if you can make it to where Vixen never needs to come out, if you do it maliciously, that obviously be like ignoring, like never putting her in bad situation, whatever. Or if it's like merging, it's more of like making it to where these situations aren't ever really bad to her anymore, like, right, easing her into them instead of just like being a shock to knock her into them, like.
Yeah, basically exposure therapy in a controlled environment.
Yeah.
Giving her a way to confront it rather than avoidance.
Yeah.
Which is Yeah. It's like a avoidance is a bandage.
Yeah, avoidance is a band-aid. But that would be the more malicious way of going, right? Which is the way you probably would want to go. But you might do it at first to give her a good base, right? That's why I said the arena fight might be a good place to, like, show her kind of fighting, but not being anywhere near it, so she can be like, look, fighting's not that big of a deal, right? Like, we're okay. Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah. So we have our mango. We have the start, and I guess we can talk about the tarot card stuff. We want to try to figure that out, like add something like that. I don't know where that can be about. Did you have any ideas for that, Josh?
Repeat that. This was our phone call from a random number.
The tarot card stuff.
What about it?
Do you have any ideas for it?
I was waiting for other people to get involved so I can, like, I guess, start the story of, like, I guess, a tarot card being pulled. But I've only gotten yours, which was the four blades, right?
Yeah, 4 swords, whatever it is.
4 swords, yeah.
I figure, like I said, we'll be the 4 ofs, whatever, right? Because there could be, like I said, multiple people, like how there was, like, 4 groups of sins.
Mm-hmm.
There can be, technically, what, 15 groups of, like...
Yeah, but there's a bunch of cards more than just the one card. So if anyone else wants to use a different card, but their identity, you can do it.
Well, no, I was saying if there was something, like, if we were all the 4, like, if there's, like, 4 of each, right? Like, so we're the 4 of 4s. But there'd be, like, the 4 of aces, the 4 of 2s, the 4 of 3s, the 4 of 4, like 4 of 5s.
Tarot is just basically card deck.
No, that's the tarot card deck.
Hmm?
That's the tarot card deck.
Wait, we're talking about the 4 of aces, or are we talking about, like, the 4
No,
of
like, no,
wands,
there's no, okay, yeah. So there's a 4 of swords, a 4 of cups, a 4 of pentacles, and a 4 of whatever, right? So there's one of each of the 4s, right? But there's also one of each of the aces. There's one of each of the 2s, but there's 4 of them, right? There's 4 aces altogether, but it's the ace of cups, the ace of swords, the ace of pentacles, and the ace of wands, right? Yeah. So that's the 4 of the aces, right? But then there's also, right, so there's what is that, 60 cards altogether of non-face cards, but then there's the 15 face cards. Yeah, so there's lots of cards, right? So I was saying that the thing that could connect us is we're all the 4s. Or we're all the 4s. Like, so I'll be the 4 of swords. So if Anya's pentacles, she'll be the 4 of pentacles. And, Sayuka would be the 4 of wands. But that means that there's going to be, like, I may be the 4 of swords, but there's also the 3 of swords. And the 5 of swords, right? So these can be potential rivals or potential whatever, like more powerful people or something, right? Things that have a special thing. And that's why I was saying those can be, like, how you said there's lots of fighters, right? That they're special. Or how you said it's lots of special people around or something, like everyone's special. Like, there might be special for different reasons, though, right? Like, this random guard can be special because he's the 3 of pentacles or something, right? Or whatever. So, like, but the more special people would be, like, death and blah, 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 right? These would be more significant people already. Yeah. So I would assume, like, the significance of these people might be, like, X of the 22, like, that their significance is, or their thing right now in the world is they're trying to collect as many of the other tarot card peoples just to gain, like, have lots of strong minions, pretty much, right? Because they're strong for some significant reason, whatever they give, right? They give a power for something. Or another one might be like, oh, I figured out a way to consume them and gain even more power from consuming them or something, right? Like more of a bad guy one or something. But there might be different people caring about us for different reasons. Because of the thing we have, which will link us to different things and stuff like that. I was saying there's a reason for us to use this and to have it part of a story and a reason and stuff like that to do things with it.
Do you think that would be too much? Like, it's a card to...
Well, I was thinking that, like, I think it's boring when we're special for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
And and that specialness is weird because you're special because you're the hero. And I'm like, cool, we're the main heroes. We have some special thing. We're the heroes and why we're strong. And I'm like, okay, cool. And now you have to go fight this bad guy. It's like, okay, damn, he was really strong. He must be special too. Like, no, he's just the bad guy. It's like, but he was strong, right? Like,
That doesn't happen in this world. A lot of people do, right?
yeah, a lot of people are strong. Yeah. But I was saying, like, having a reason why we can be strong but not be strong is still interesting to me. Like, we have an interesting destiny to become even stronger, right? Or something. But we don't want it to be the only reason why we're strong. So, like, or we don't want it to be the only ones that could have this destiny, right? Like, maybe it's a thing like when one of the face cards dies, eventually one of the I say it's called the major arcana. The major arcana are all the face cards. The minor arcana are all like the whatevers. So, like, maybe it's like whenever one of the major arcanas dies, the only one that can take up the mantle is one of the minor arcanas, right? One of them become it. But then, like, that minor arcana is just missing their card now. But doesn't mean anything because eventually all the minor arcana are going to die, and then there'll be a whole new set of minor arcana that pop up. Like, it's just, you're not that special. Like how like your significance is you can become one of the special people eventually, maybe, if one of them does die. But if it doesn't, then you're just a person with some special little power that doesn't really matter. But it's enough reason to make you special. But like if how you said,
You're a
like,
stand-in.
yeah, you're a stand-in, but then technically in Josh's world, everyone's a stand-in for something special. But their reason why they're special might be something different, right? Like, their reason might be they're a powerful angel, right? Or they're the descendants of whatever, or they're just like a fucking dragon or whatever, right? Like, they're special because they're a dragon, or whatever, right? Like, if Vi and all them were in the world, then they're special because they're the sins, right? Like, everyone has like an epic destiny or something kind of deal that they could tap into potentially. It's just ours is like we're part of the Arcana thing. That's our special thing, but also, like, Vixen or Serafina is also like one of the Titans' kids, so she has two special things. That's why she's the hero, because she has two special things. I don't know, right? Or why we overcome is because we're slightly more special than what we think we are. Yeah, or like the idea is Anya is the child of Tylo, which whatever the fuck he is, and Daggy, which is part of some god thing or something, right? So yeah, there's like specialness from us for some reason. Like, in Vanessa's character is the chosen of the fox or whatever, right? Or something like that. So, Vanessa's here. She's muted.
No, he's muted. Oh.
How
Fucking
dare
is-
you show your face here? I assume you fell asleep.
Shut up. I mean, you're not wrong, but shut up.
I figured
Yeah.
that. That's what I said. Like, when you messaged me, I assume you fell asleep after that. Because you didn't respond to me messaging you, so I assume you were gone.
Weekly.
Yeah.
Did you stay up all night yesterday?
No,
Oh, you just fell asleep for a nap?
I guess. I don't even know why I fell asleep. I wasn't even that tired.
Did you just, like, lay down and go to sleep?
Yes, that's usually how it happens sometimes. I was just
And
thinking,
you didn't
no.
even bother to set an alarm.
Oh my god.
Well, if you didn't...
Alarms don't do shit.
But I mean, if she didn't realize she was going to sleep, she wouldn't set alarm. Because she wasn't like, I'm going to take a nap and I'll wake up for the game. She probably just like, she probably like maybe jumped under bed and then she's like just out. Yeah. We talked about a lot of shit though. But it was just mainly character stuff. We actually just started talking about the tarot card stuff and how we could maybe make it something. But yeah, Josh, if you don't want to do like the bigger tarot card stuff, we can just keep it like there's only one of every one of this. Like, so there's the 4 and then the 22 or something. Is that what you want to do or rather do? Josh is even there still.
Josh is dead.
Yeah, I'm here. Just keep forgetting to unmute. But I think the smaller deck would be easier to establish like identities.
Okay. I was just saying the bigger deck so you have more to work with.
That's too much to work with.
Gotcha.
Similar things.
Yeah, but I was also given a reason like why security guard number 3 is good. It's like, oh, because he's the ace of pentacles. Like, oh, okay. But yeah.
I mean, I do kind of like the idea, but at the same time, if Josh is like, okay, anyone can be special, or anyone can have this power, more than just like, what is it, 52 people in the 6 rings and 1 core?
Yeah, but I still don't know why everyone's special though, right? Like, why is everyone
Yeah,
fucking Super Saiyan?
I'm kind of waiting for Josh's explanation before I, like...
There's just a bunch of power going on in the world, so there's different reasons.
Yeah, like it's a high power setting. Like how in D&D you're like a wizard, and wizards are supposed to be special, but it's like everyone's a wizard. So it's like if everyone's a wizard, then technically you're not special. But I think the problem is it's kind of like, but no, the thing is like, but the thing is like we're wizards, but we're like 3rd level wizards right now. But we're gonna run into like a lot of people that live before us, so they're like, you know, 5th, 7th, 8th, 12th, right? You know, with level wizards, and because it's so common for us to run into all these things. So it's like everyone's a player character, and they're all various levels because they've done different adventures. That's basically what Josh is saying.
Yeah, I can see that. But I mean, with D&D, they have these certain tiers to say how powerful you are compared to the world all the way from, okay, we don't really recognize you.
Well, my game has a level system. It says when you level, you get another thing. But
Yeah.
monsters, I didn't make up monsters like how you do monsters in my game. I figured the way
I'm
you
just
do.
talking about like how the D&D handbook, player's handbook describes like adventure tiers, and that's why I'm translating over here. Like the higher tiers are like legendary.
Yeah, but Josh is saying the idea in his game is even if this was a D&D game, things like your opponents are going to be of your level to make sense of you fighting, but the random shit you run into, like running into Earl in Red Hawk, right? That's basically you're gonna find a lot of Earls in Josh's game essentially, like people you could try to kill if you want, but you're probably gonna die if you do it, right? But they're not gonna try to kill you. Yeah. Like Earl's supposed to be like this powerful wizard that helped imprison Imnix and blah blah blah, but he's just old and slow. But he could very much cast wishes if you want. Like, yeah.
I wish I could forget all the horrible things I've done.
Nah. Earl takes those things. He wears them like not badges of honor, but he knows what he did. He knows what good and bad
Earl's
stuff he did.
forgetful.
He makes you think he's forgetful. Earl knows all and sees all.
And forgets.
Oh, he's like Merlin. He's like Merlin in like the Disney Merlin thing, right? Like he acts a little bit of aloof, but when serious shit happens, he's like, nah, gotta put my big boy pants on.
He forgot about the curtains.
Don't worry about it. He knew about it. He was just testing you as heroes.
Yeah, right.
You don't know. I mean, you don't know what his wisdom is. You know his intelligence is pretty good.
Yeah, but his charisma ain't that great.
Or maybe it's so good. He just, like I said, he just can play with shitty charisma. I mean, to be fair, IRL, you gotta do that, right? Like, you can't play high charisma, int, or wisdom unless, well, you could probably fake high int. You can't really play high.
Taking.
Yeah. You can't really fake charisma
kind
and
of
wisdom.
with charisma too, with good note taking. If you've met the characters before, it's like,
Well, that's not the point. Like, it's how well people know, like, interact with you, like, right away. Like that's how pity people with shitty charisma actually get by in life is having to get to know someone really well. Yeah. So like when people like I said, when people like start meeting each other, they might be like, this guy's an asshole, or this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. But then after, like, he's like, I don't want to interact with him. But then after a while, you're like, oh, he means well. He's just a fucking idiot, right? Like that kind of thing. And that's when people are like, okay, I'll be your friend, right? Like, it's okay. But like, some people just judge people on first like interactions, like fuck this, I'm not being that guy's friend, just walk away. So yeah, like that's like charisma helps you give really good impressions. Unless you're like me, where you don't give a fuck, and if people want to take you the wrong way and think you're an asshole and walk away, I'm like, well, you're not a very patient person, so I don't think I want to interact with you anyway. Yeah.
Alright.
Different people, different things. But yeah, Vanessa, you're here now. Since you weren't here for the last 3 hours while we talked, what about you?
Yeah.
Because me and Surprise already have a whole life. We already planned out how we're getting married and shit, and yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna make the wedding dresses, tuxedo wedding dress.
Yeah, I was gonna think I would probably have a really elegant, ridiculous, over the top dress, but you probably have like a tuxedo suit type thing. Or like a suit, yeah.
There's some hybrid dress suit thing.
Yeah.
Just kind of accentuate the chest, have more darker colors, but still have maybe
Okay, Vanessa, what are you wearing at the wedding?
a donkey suit, because you're an absolute beast of burden.
Got him.
Good.
Yeah, you'll be a bridesmaid or something, right? That makes sense. Wait, what's the thing right next to? Wait, fuck! I'm thinking of like a fucking playing card. Like, what's the thing under the bride? What is the next thing after bride? Bride of maid of honor. Maid of honor. Yeah. There we go. There we go.
Then below that are the bridesmaids.
Okay, yeah. So you'll be the maid of honor technically. There we go. I figured it out.
If you survive long enough.
Yeah, the tears of wedding.
Yeah, and for the male side,
it's like the best man and the
best man and the groomsmen.
Yeah.
He's probably
Okay.
yeah.
So we talked
Talked about some old events in our lives.
Yeah, but
more
the thing.
About our motivations.
Well,
we
we assumed some things about your character, so I think that's the only thing we need to talk to you about right away. Would be like, so we talked about how the game's gonna start. Like we're gonna be at like an arena tournament and stuff like that. So we would all be there, and the reason why you would come along because we said Anya has business to do there, and Anya's taking Serafina, but Anya can't be with Serafina at all times, so you're basically Vixen's babysitter. Because I established, you've seen Moon Knight, so I've transferred like Vixen and Serafina to be more like Moon Knight, the two split, so they're not actually just people like just all on top of each other. So Vixen is the made up character to help Serafina get by kind of deal, certain things. So one of the things that Vixen is made for was abandonment issues. So whenever like Anya has to go, Vixen came up, right? So when Anya has to go do business, inevitably Vixen's gonna pop up, and that's when it's your job to watch over Vixen, I guess. So that's why I said you're to Anya you're a necessary evil, I guess.
Hold on.
What?
Hold on.
Oh,
holding on to what?
you left. Maybe you just woke up, so people are. Well, it's 10 o'clock. I don't think. Oh no, wait. What time it is in California? Less, right? It's like 8.
It's 8 o'clock.
Yeah. So she probably still has to interact with parents.
Maybe.
Oh, never mind.
Oh my god. I'm back.
What's up, Chuckles?
My fucking sister just burst into my room asking if I wanted an almond joy.
Okay, wasn't bad. Good enough. All
You
matters.
should have just been courteous and threw it at you without asking you why.
Think fast.
I
Almond
don't-
joy. Ah.
I don't like almond joy, that's the thing.
Beat you with the almond joy. Okay.
I'm not going to excuse your weak genes or your poor taste.
No. That's the best way to get brownie points. You ask people things if they want it for things you don't know they want, so you can eat it yourself. Then also seem like the good guy of asking if they want it.
Yes, exactly. She knows damn well I don't like
I know.
almond joy.
I know. Yeah,
No,
right.
she's being a gremlin. I understand.
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And then next time when you got like a Nestle Crunch or something, yeah, both like it. She's like, "You're not gonna give me half the Nestle Crunch?" She's like, "Why want my Nestle Crunch?" It's like, "I always try to give you candy. Remember that time I tried to give you that Almond Joy?" It's like, "Fuck, you did try to give me, even though I don't like it." Like, it's not my fault you didn't like it. I mean, I was still being nice. See, yeah, you gotta be nice.
Yeah, I mean, if like a Nestle Kit Kat, you just bite the Kit Kat.
I don't
The
really
whole
like
thing.
Nestle Crunch either, so.
Whatever. Yeah, I don't like any sweets in it. So, yeah. So you're gonna be like a necessary evil to Anya because when Vixen does come up,
Yeah.
what was that?
SVA.
Okay. Yeah, but we talked about how the idea is Anya is going to be trying to merge the two, kind of show that Serafina doesn't need Vixen really to come out ever, because she whatever like Anya's not going to abandon her ever again type of deal is what she's going to like kind of push for, or like you don't need to protect me, we're fine. You don't need to have this person to come out to protect us, like yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then like in the game, things are probably trying to kill us.
Yeah.
So
So like, if Anya's ever seriously hurt, he'll just set her plans back quite a bit with with the Serafina Vixen situation.
mhm. So what about you, Vanessa? Anything else you thought about for your character? Not actually character, your life. What was your life in the last 2 years, 3 years, 4, 12? I don't know how many years. How many years has it been since like? Well, I guess they're 21 now, right? So Anya would have went to school, which maybe she went to college earlier because she was smarter or something. Like, did she go to college when she was like 16 and come back when she was 18?
I mean, she took an accelerated program.
So
Homeschooling does, quote unquote, improve your IQ, though.
So 18, 19, and you're 20, so 2 years of you guys. Okay, so it was 2 years if you're back at 18 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So in this last 2 years of being in this weird love triangle.
Wait, where's the triangle?
Well, I was even gonna say like maybe like there might be some kind of weird connection between Vixen and Sayuka, yeah.
Or like sayonara?
Yeah, but the idea I said Vixen's more of asexual, so she doesn't understand any of that stuff. But the idea is like it. I was gonna say like maybe the relationship between Vi and Caitlyn, where it's like the tough girl, but I mean technically in that relationship, Caitlyn's the one that's not really showing her feelings, right? I think Vi's pushing pretty hard on that.
Wait, which version of Vi are we talking about?
The
Oh,
Vi and yeah and Arcana.
yeah, I was thinking like, wait a minute, I don't recall Vi ever being with someone in Cable.
Yeah, in
Arcane.
Arcana,
Like,
yeah.
oh, right, like,
That Vi, yeah.
anyways.
Yeah. So I just assume that like maybe Sayuka maybe kind of likes Vixen a bit. I don't know. That's on you if you want to say that or not. But Vixen's never showed anything other than just being cool with you, like being like your best friend or whatever. So
Yeah. I was thinking like, Sayuka knows her like place, and she doesn't want to get in the way of Vixen and
so
Anya.
you probably because you've only ever known Vixen. You never seen Serafina.
Anya.
No, Serafina. You never seen Serafina. Like, because
Yeah.
when Anya left, it basically was all this Vixen. Kind of like when in Moon Knight, when his mom died, right? And it's all it was whatever the fuck his name was. I remember George. Is that George?
No.
What was his name? What was the good one?
Steven.
What?
Steven.
Steven.
Not
No.
even close.
No.
Wasn't it Steven?
I thought Steven was the normal one. I remember. I'm trying to think of hearing what name in a British accent.
I thought it was Steven.
I'm gonna Google it. Hold on.
No, because like Steven was the British one. No.
Yeah, I remember hearing someone say Steven in a British accent probably a bunch.
There was Jake.
Jake. Okay, yeah, Jake. Okay, never mind. Jake will be because I remember.
Jake is the bad one though.
Yeah. Yeah, Jake's the real bad one.
Jake, and then it was.
And he was Italian or something. Like he only spoke Italian.
Oh my god! Fucking what were their names? It was Jake. I think it was Steven. And then the original was like Mark. Yeah, Mark. And
Mark.
Steven.
Yeah, Mark.
Steven,
Yeah,
and Jake.
Mark, Steven, and Jake. Okay, yeah. Jake Lockley, Stephen Grant, and Mark Spector. Yeah. So the idea is, how Steven Mark knew about Steven, but Steven didn't know about Mark for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is Serafina knows about Vixen, but Vixen doesn't know about Serafina. So once Serafina pops out, and disappears when she runs away to go whatever, to find Anya when she finally comes back to being herself. You probably lose Vixen for a few days, right? Like she disappears, and you eventually find her or track her down. But you'll probably track her down to Anya's house or something like that. And that's when she would probably explain to you what's going on. Like how she has this other personality, Vixen, and she's probably very sorry, and you're probably like, but you probably look at it and go like, you're a lot better like this, right? Like you're a lot better person like this anyway. So like I don't really care that much about the Vixen like you care about Vixen, but you care about her as a person. But
yeah.
But she is essentially just Vixen, but not a dick. It's right, like so you're like cool. But then the problem is you help bring Vixen out. Or Anya helps bring Serafina out. Right? So you're also like, I like this person, but I don't want them to keep bringing out this other person that's kind of hurting their life. Right? So Vixen's more like Jake then? Like Jake Lockley, like the more like the really evil guy that's going to fuck up their life kind of deal. Where this other person is more like Seraphine is more like Steven, I guess. Because she's just like a nicer person. So it's more like you probably want to help keep Serafina around and try to like merge them more into Serafina, but then when Vixen comes out, you help her, right? When Vixen gets in the shit, you're like a conscience more to her at that point, right? Because you're just a nice person that just helps her out and stuff like that, where other people doesn't trust, right? Mm-hmm. But then when Anya comes back, then she can help switch her back to Seraphine, pretty much. So that's why I said you're kind of like Vixen's babysitter.
Kind of like a trigger, I guess.
Yeah. Anya's more of each of the But I was saying like you're her Jiminy Cricket when she's around. Vixen's out, but Seraphina doesn't need that. She's okay, and also just listens to Anya for the most part. So I guess Anya's her like yeah.
I like the idea of like Anya being like, "Hey, Sayuka," and I'm just like, "Hey," and then she's just like, "You better fucking take care of her." I'm like, "What?"
Maybe I need to make a third personality for Ragnar, like more of like this is when the really evil, fucked up person comes out and they try to kill each other, right?
Or like quote unquote rivals or like competitive buddies.
Yeah, I was thinking I was gonna make Ragnar's character the one that beat her up and took her spot, but eventually she got pushed out by someone else.
Oh.
Right, so she's the one that yeah. Or it could be because I can make it to where like Sayuka doesn't trigger Vixen, but Ragnar's character like because right it's more of like Anya is the more that one gets Serafina out. Ragnar can be the one that gets Vixen out, but then you can be the one that helps them meet in the middle, kind of deal, right? Because I would say Vixen was probably more nicer even around you because you're the person that showed her kindness, so you kind of pulled out Serafina somewhat while Vixen was still around because the idea is she still was hurt from Anya leaving, kind of deal. So it's like yeah, when you're around and they're alone, she's almost like a neutral kind of person.
Am I like a medium? I guess?
Sure. Which will give you a better part in the story, I guess, too. Like the whole Vixen. Yeah. So again, that helps give a reason why Anya doesn't tell you to leave, right? To stay out of our life. Like you're making our life worse. Like, but you're making the life kind of better almost. Because you're helping get to the.
What do you need to make a relationship sheet for both Serafina and Vixen?
No, because Serafina knows about Vixen, so Serafina still.
It's like two different people because, like, even in Moon Knight, Mark and Steven were basically two different people. Mark,
Yeah. Like, but you became like at first maybe, but at this point after 2 years, you probably are like, okay, I've gotten the idea of these two people, right? Like Serafina is just a nicer version of Vixen. Vixen's more of a piece of shit kind of deal, right? So with Serafina, you can just be like yourself and interact with them properly. But then with Vixen, you have to like watch where you step because it might make her mad, kind of deal, right? Because she's a little bit more of a hot-headed. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But your connection things are about just how you met them and stuff like that. But I mean, you also can write like something like, I met Vixen, how blah blah blah, and we became very close. But I became even closer once Serafina, when I met Serafina for these reasons and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it can be in the same box kind of deal, but still just him as a person. Yeah. But yeah, Ragnar's thing. So I was gonna make a like I said, bad one for Ragnar. So offering him as the
Yeah. As like Anya and Ragnar are both extremes, and Sayuka's like the medium.
Yeah. Yeah. But what about you for us though? Because I mean, like, you're a big part of our characters' lives, but how do we interact with your character's life?
I feel like Sayuka having the inspiration to become a dojo master came from maybe watching Vixen like scrap it out with someone.
Vixen doesn't really do well at fighting.
Well, yeah, I know, but like that's exactly why, because like she wants to teach people how to learn self-defense for the reason that she doesn't want other people to be.
Did maybe you helped Vixen learn self-defense better? Like, don't
and
just
then, like,
block everything with your face. Like,
in helping Vixen learn a few defensive techniques, she's just like, huh, I have a knack for teaching. Maybe I should be a teacher.
That's how you could get her butt kicked for getting intervened by the fox spirit or something.
Well, that's because I had my guard down. And that motherfucker nearly beat me to death, so I don't know, man.
I mean, you made the story, so...
No. Mine was more... No. The guy is way better than her in, like, those... in fighting. Like, she's a trained, like, martial artist, but this guy's, like... that's his main thing, right? He that's what he was good at. He was good at
black belt, but he was 10th degree black belt.
Yeah, something like that, right? He had schooling, he had a rich family to give him like all the stuff he needs. She's just some kid from like whatever that learned there pretty much, right? So she's pretty good for not really having any like form, like, right? Like if they both had the same amount of training, she might win, but because of him just having all this extra stuff, right? It's like basically he's a shitty person, and then money bought all the stuff to make him better that could possibly make him better. But then but even that couldn't make him a better person. So that's why the things that she was better at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't really know much about like Anya.
Make stuff up. like make stuff up, and surprise will tell you how that fits together, basically, right? Like make up some kind of thing you want the relationship to be about or interaction would be about, and then surprise will tell you the best way to get to that point.
Well, like you said, how I'm kind of the medium, and like Anya hasn't told me to get lost yet, is because of the fact that I'm a medium. So, like, you know, Anya is like, we're not necessarily friends. We kind of like acknowledge each other, I guess.
So, I'll bring this up, make things maybe easier for you. So, when I play in TTRPGs and games like that, I always look at the way people play, and there are certain somewhat defined roles that people play as, like as far as how they push in games and stuff like that. And I said like there's always like more of like a leader-esque role, a second in command-esque role, like the wild card, and then like the useless girl type deal, just like I guess how what you call it, Always Sunny kind of did. And no, the useless girl, the ones that suck at roleplay to me. Anyone that sucks at roleplay is a useless girl to me.
Yeah, so
because
Ragnar.
Ragnar is a wild card. Ragnar and Mouse are token wild cards. They are okay at they're pretty good at role playing. It's just not going to be the role play everyone likes. It's just going to be Marlon's like that too, but Marlon's weird. Marlon's not even a wild card. Marlon's just like sometimes he's a leader, sometimes he's just like the useless girl. That's all it is. Like it's he's just one or the other. Like it's really weird. Actually, he's like fucking more than the leader. He's fucking the general chief in China. Yeah, he's like fucking president sometimes. Yeah, he just do like the most useless of girls. Because Marlon would literally skateboard away from the game and still be in the game somehow. Like, he doesn't even be with the party anymore. Like, that was a game where Marlon literally would be here at the beginning of the game, and they were like, we start talking to him, and Marlon's like, I skateboard away. And we're like, okay, bye. And then he just leaves. And we go to a different town. And then he skateboards up. And we talk to him. He's like, nah, I skateboard away again. These guys suck. Yeah, and he would do that for like 3 or 4 sessions. And we're like, he's not even in the game. He's like worse than the useless girl. Like, he's literally in the call, not doing anything. But it was funny as fuck, right? It's like, how, Marlon, how? Well, then sometimes he's just like, okay, guys, here's what's happening. And like, somehow he takes over the game as a player. And I'm like, it was a tavern, but once Marlon left, it was like a country roadhouse thing, and everyone had assless chops and cowboy hats on. I don't know how the fuck that happened. Marlon just started saying shit, and it started happening. And it was a good-ass scene, right? Like, the doctor thing, like, I think it was like, it was in Josh's game or something, where we had to go pick up something from a doctor. All was the doctor.
He made the role of the doctor and the nurse.
Yeah, he made up the nurse role. He made up the whole like fucking place where we were in. It was supposed to be we just have to go pick something up from a guy. There was no story there at all, and it's just like he's a fucking main character now. It's like what the fuck? Yeah, it was like I don't know how Marlon took over as DM as a player for a small right and made it better than anything could ever have. I'm like Marlon should DM the game. I'm like nah, you guys couldn't handle me. And I'm like apparently we couldn't. Like I said, Marlon's either a fucking idiot or he's just the smartest person in the world and he hangs out with us as a social experiment. And this Marlon character is all just him fucking with us because he's too smart for us.
I'm the cool kid and you guys are a bunch of nerds.
Yeah, I don't know. So, but yeah, so in this game, we're putting Surprise as the leader character, right? I'm supposed to be kind of the second because of the relationship we're making, or like a supporting actor of somewhat, right? Like and we're trying to make no. So like the wild card role is this weird role that doesn't need to be there, but the second in command or the person that just what was that?
Like a second command is typically called Lancer. I think you're
Lancer, yeah, but like second or like a vice leader or something like that, right? These roles, you can have as many as you want. You want as many as possible because you don't really want too many leaders. That's the person that just like is the story is kind of more focused on, and trying to focus more of the story on too many people will push the game in too many different directions, and it'll be very hard to like make everyone happy at once. But if you have a clearly defined role of this person's the leader, so more often than not, we're going to be following something they want. So it's best for us to make our characters want what they want, right? So like I very much did that very easily with Vixen, right? Like I'm going to follow whatever she says usually, right? So I'm good. Like I'm good, but I can also like say things potentially, even though it's probably not going to be that much. But it gives me a chance to be a second or the useless girl or whatever, right? Or the supporting actor to the actor. They're gonna come talk to me, and then I'm gonna talk back, right? Like they're gonna throw me the ball, I'm gonna catch it and throw it back, right? So you don't have to make such a ridiculous, awesome story. You just have to be okay with whatever story Surprise makes up, right? So basically surprising, like saying like this is my plans for the character, you could then say, okay, cool, the way I'm going to latch on to that is by doing X, Y, and Z, right? Like, so Surprise talked about his goal in life was going to be his character's goal in life was going to be to prove that she doesn't need to, like, her parents and blah, 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 make it on her own. And right now her goal is, business-wise, is to make like a clothing line or something. Is that right? Like a claim to success, like to be more of like someone that created clothing lines or something.
Yes, to make a brand, like make our own brand, not necessarily just a clothing line, but a clothing brand using high quality materials, showing their strength. I guess showing their strength and durability and vibrant colors.
And probably specialize in things that normally wouldn't be, or people normally wouldn't have, like the wrestling stuff or the fighting styles. Like you can actually dress
like
nice.
Like some of the costumes that you can see in the
I'm thinking
bit would be some of her designs.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever seen the Hunger Games. Remember how like they all had like fashion for like to try to show off their whatever, or like their areas and stuff like that. Like that was a big deal to make everything very like fashionable and stuff like that. Like putting fashion into other making things more extravagant and stuff like that. So focusing on things that may not be extravagant and making them extravagant, right? Because then you have the ground floor of that thing.
Yeah, partially.
Katniss Everdeen is not fun.
She's also infusing the clothing, like some of the clothing, with magic, since her magic's more like illusions and enchantments. So illusions with clothing, giving that extra flair, might be good.
Yeah, same again with Hunger Games, right? What like wasn't like one person's thing on fire, like
Yeah, that was the main characters.
Yeah, I kind of half watched it, and I was like, but yeah, like things like that, making things cooler than what they need to be for things that don't do that yet, I guess. But and I assume the idea right now is kind of Seraphina is your secretary while you move up in this business thing. But then the end goal is to become a queen and take Seraphina with her. Yeah.
So we can switch, say, from college to, I guess, clothing apprenticeship, or going under a pseudonym to get her own connections.
Oh, like an artist name you're going under, like.
Yeah. I'm thinking about changing the last name I put on her in the game. Like, because Mr. Lafayette is a pretty name, but maybe it's a bit too long.
Yeah, it's weird too, because it's a city over here.
Oh, goodness, I forgot. Okay, what about Mistress Isla? Not the same ring.
What? Is that your phone ring?
No, maybe.
No, I heard a moan
ring.
come from.
I heard a moan too, and I thought.
Yeah, but I heard a moan and a vibrate, so I thought it was like a ringtone, Vanessa's ringtone.
Sorry? No.
You're watching something.
Your mom.
Someone's embarrassed.
I fucking eat my dick. This orange Giganotosaurus. What did you say? Giganotosaurus. Giganotosaurus.
Don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not sure if she's having a stroke or what, but let's see how this
She's flustered.
continues.
It's fine.
Shut up!
Just let it pass. She'll do the blush. She'll call us a baka eventually or something. It'll be fine.
I swear to fucking God, I'm gonna stab you one of these days.
Yeah, see, the threatening is also part of the, flusteriness.
Oh my fucking God.
She says, "Oh my God," a whole
Here we
lot.
go.
She says to eat her penis or whatever. She says
Here
to kill.
we fucking
She says the
go.
"Here we go" thing. Yeah, you know, it's all the same thing.
My name's
My name is
Spike.
Spike. Yep, that too. Yep. Everyone thinks I'm awesome. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've heard it. Yeah.
Don't bully me. I'm a baby.
Uh-huh.
I'm small.
See, now she's showing them, like, right? She stopped trying to be tough, and she's more of just telling you to stop. It's okay, pat.
I'm angry. I'm angry, sus. I hate this. I'm not here to be bullied. I'm here to talk about D&D.
Well, why don't you talk about?
Get some chalky milk and some chicken nuggets.
Well, why don't you talk to Surprise about how you want to link your character to them to give a fuck? It's
Sayuka had this idea
I'm gonna
where
get
she's
food.
just like, hey, what if we incorporate martial arts into your clothing line? Or like maybe Anya needed like a model
costume.
yeah. And so like, you know, Sayuka's very flexible, she's like bendable, and so she can like use she can like
the limits of the clothing.
yeah, test the limits of the clothing, and also Anya can sponsor her dojo basically for like giving the kids clothing, because like we're in a very rural area, so we don't really have like much of anything. So like, you know, Anya can sponsor, not like necessarily sponsor, but like maybe donate some of her clothing to like.
I don't know. Like, that doesn't seem very Anya, because Anya wants to be kept away from riffraff type stuff, right? So like sponsoring some low thing doesn't want to attach her name to anything like that, right?
Sponsoring, but like donating, so that she seems more high class. Because like, you know, high class people always are just like, oh, I'm such a good person, I just donated all this clothing to like a orphanage or whatever.
Maybe not have her name tied to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But she could like, as an agreement to help, will make sure that the children are well dressed and maybe even have some rations.
Under the pen name, that like whatever you were choosing, under the scholarship of the apprenticeship of the like clothing line person.
Or through her family connections. And I'm figuring, okay, would this be better for the image? First of all, would Anya have her own funds to donate? Because she hasn't made that much of her own money yet. She's a trust fund kid, I guess. Well, she's an heiress to a pretty large industry, or I guess a pretty large company, and she has plenty of money to spend if she just asks. So, if she does not have the capital to donate clothing or give, I guess, as her stand-in, she would instead have her father or her mother make a donation on her behalf to this organization, and they'd be okay to do that within a heartbeat if she asks.
And so I kind of like not necessarily owe my life to Anya, but I'm like indebted to her and I'm grateful to her.
Yeah, so you accepted the role of being the vixen babysitter.
Yeah, basically. And so like that's as a service of donating to my dojo, I'm the babysitter vixen basically.
Yeah.
So to get this straight, I have my dojo, but I don't own the dojo. I'm just like what is it? What's underneath the dojo master? Because like I'm a teacher, but I'm also like the underneath to the dojo master.
Is there a name to that?
I'm pretty sure there's a name for that.
You can just work
Because
at
like
the
there's
dojo.
sensei and then there's like something sensei. Or like you can have multiple senseis, but like my sensei would be like the kids sensei, but I would also be their sensei, if that makes any sense. The guy who taught me also teaches the kids, but I also teach the kids too. Most
I
of
don't
the
know if that's how
time.
that works. I think someone just owns this building and then they hire people to instruct people there.
Yeah, I
There's
think
there's
that is
all
true.
instructors, right? Like
I don't know, man. I haven't seen Cobra Kai. I don't care.
yeah. But also it's probably just different. Like whoever has the highest level black belt, right? Is this
Oh wait, so maybe my sensei owns the building. The guy who taught me owns the building, and I'm a sensei to the children, but he doesn't teach. He's just like there because he's just like, hey, I own the building, and I want to see how you're teaching people. Because like apparently I was one of his best students or whatever, you know, something like that. And then I tell him about the fun coming from some place, and he's just like, well, what about like da da da, whatever, whatever. We use the fund to get like clothes and like belts and shit like that. And like also just to like repair some of the building, I guess.
it's funny because you're his best student, but the idea he's just like I don't understand. Like I was able to teach you like this stuff in like months that people have taken years, and you're like I don't know, I've never learned anything. But really, you have, right?
When yeah, like when in reality I have. So I guess he has like a sort of sense where he's just like,
You're a prodigy, basically. He thinks like you don't know. Yeah.
yeah, like I'm a prodigy.
So you were saying, were you still trying to figure out that hierarchy thing?
Yeah. What I'm
So, like, are you thinking head sensei of the dojo?
yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Okay, yeah, because I just Googled, like, dojo hierarchy, and it says head of organization, then head sensei of dojo, beneath are sensei, senpai, and various, uh,
Other things.
yeah, then students of various levels.
hmm So he's the head sensei, and I'm one of the senseis underneath him.
I mean, sensei just means teacher, so head teacher, and then teacher.
Yeah, basically. So no
I
head.
think I think in English we just say instructors.
Oh yeah, basically.
I just kind of think of it like a fast food chain. You got your regional manager, your district manager, manager of this particular restaurant, assistant manager, and then you got all your employees.
hmm
Yep. So Anya agrees to have donations sent to your dojo in order to keep um Vex Vixen safe and sound,
hmm
and in turn uh Seraphine safe and sound.
hmm
But as soon as you are no longer useful, and well, what's what I'm looking for? I guess the impression you get, as long as you are no longer useful, the business has ended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I die trying to protect Vixen, you're just kind of like, oh well. I'm kidding.
I if that's what Sayuka thinks,
Well, I mean, it's like once, yeah, you say once you are no longer useful to me, our business has transaction has expired.
concluded,
Yeah.
concluded. But
So both Anya and Sayuka get something out of this.
yes, Anya's not really soup like that heartless though. So even if you die, she like she'll take consideration to the dojo, but Sayuka does not know that.
Yeah, but also the idea, the basic gist you probably get is like, once me and my girlfriend are good, we don't need you to be our third wheel.
Yeah,
Yeah, basically.
more like our fourth wheel. Because
Oh, yeah,
of
technically.
Vixen. Yeah.
Or like, once we get rid of our third wheel, then we don't need our fourth wheel either.
Or we merge our second and third wheel together. We don't need to.
We need a bicycle. Is that what that expression is?
The expression?
I assume they're talking about a bicycle.
It's like when it's a third wheel, it's kind of like training wheels.
Yeah, but then like the fourth wheel's okay because then you use a car, right? I guess this means double date. You're fine.
Well, third wheel, you need 2 wheels. Like 2 extra wheels.
Well, there's 4 at that point.
Yeah.
Isn't there a bike that has 3 wheels?
It's
Or am
called
I
a
just...
Tricycle, yeah.
There's also a unicycle.
You're a unicycle.
I know, I'm special.
But they're usually saying like a third wheel of something else, right? Like it's extra wheel.
Well, like, with a tricycle, don't you, like, need the training wheels?
No, a
Or-
tricycle
wait,
has
no.
1 wheel in front and 2 wheels.
2 wheels in back, yeah.
Yes. Equally
I thought that was
distributed.
like the training wheels thing. But like with training wheels, you need 2 wheels and then the training wheels.
No, a
like,
tricycle is
lash
what you
on.
ride before you start on a bike, and then once you get a bike, you put training wheels on it to get you that, like the feel of a bike, and then you get the training wheels taken off once. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tricycles are just more stable.
Or a big wheel. Those ones, the big ass wheel, and the ones that, yeah.
Oh god, those penny farthings.
Oh, like the ones in the like 1700s or something.
1850s or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 1800s. I didn't like those. I think they're so goofy. They're so stupid.
Yeah, and very deadly.
Just a giant ass wheel. This is my Jew crusher. You could just use it as a bike. No, it's a Jew crusher.
Okay, Henry
Family
Ford.
Guy. Yeah, Family Guy.
Yeah, I know what you're getting at.
That was a Family Guy gag. Leave me
Yeah,
alone.
you might want to.
I
You
know,
might
I
want to
know.
say that beforehand
That's why I
before
said
people
Henry
that are
Ford,
like.
the guy who made the Ford car. Never said about penny farthing. Anyway,
Also, when you say an extremely like racist or fucked up thing to random people, you also might want to always say like that skit from whatever. Didn't say the fucked up thing, because other people can be like, "Damn, that's a hates Jewish people. That's weird." Okay.
hey, I mean, go ahead. Hate Jews, hate all races, go ahead.
Leave me alone. I'm gonna giant ass nose. Really curly
Name
hair.
every Jewish person.
Hitler.
well,
That's a point against you liking Jews. So
Oh wait,
if your
who's
first
that
and
one?
only person that you can name that's Jewish is Hitler,
Who's that one guy? He's not actually Jewish. He just looks Jewish.
that's another point against her.
The guy from Superbad, the really awkward, skinny kid.
Michael Cera
Michael Cera. Yes,
doesn't look Jewish.
he does.
I mean,
Or
not
Jesse
really.
Eisenberg. Is it Jesse Eisenberg?
McLovin.
Yeah, fucking McLovin.
McLovin, son of a bitch. That was so
Anyway, so Anya funds for the dojo just as long as Sayuka keeps Vixen, aka Serafina, safe.
yes, that seems like the arrangement. Okay, well, how would Seraphine, okay, how would Anya and Zayuka meet? Because how Seraphina...
You come home and she's in the house.
Yeah, like, would Seraphina run off and then Zayuka would chase after her, still thinking it's Vixen?
Oh no, never mind. I forgot. You would probably.
Because this is
So
when she
Sarah,
comes
so
back
so
from
Serafina
her-
didn't like hide herself coming to your house, right? And there's probably like blood or something. So I would say eventually Sayuka can figure out where Vixen went, maybe even with some detective work or something.
Yeah.
So I guess one day she just knocks on the door, and yeah, she knocks on the door, and I would assume it's during the day when maybe you're at work. So Serafina answers, like Caesar, and then because you're not here, she's right. It's like one of those like, I guess Vixen comes back, right? Like at that point, it's like, oh hey, what's up, right? And then she like kind of explains like, oh yeah, I came to Anya's house, I think. Why did I come here? Oh well, you wanna play video games, right? Like, yeah.
And then we just chill at the house, and then like Anya comes back, and she's like, "Oh, who's this? What did she say? I said, what did she say?"
Serafina probably, and
It's like she like opens the door, and she's like, "Oh, who's this, Serafina?" And then I'm just like, "Oh, hi, I'm Sayuka, her friend, and work at a dojo."
yeah, and then like,
Okay.
yeah, like so, like the idea is, I don't know if Anya coming home will be enough to pull her back once she's like here. So
maybe Anya figures that out of like, hey, Sayuka's here, Vixen is still here, but it should be Serafina.
Like, who is this person and why are they in my house with
Yeah.
Serafina?
yeah,
But it's still like Vixen.
yeah, but you probably like quickly explain that that's my friend. I'm from the street. You know, she got my back. She's the only one left in my gang, right?
Like Vixen kind of explains how many times Sayuka has like healed her basically, and
Probably
just like
not.
yeah, she's kind of like my babysitter or whatever, and then that
No,
gives Anya the idea
no,
like
probably
a
no.
babysitter.
I don't think Vixen would have said any of that. I think Vixen does not go into very good detail with things. I would say maybe like Mouse,
Oh yeah, definitely.
where she's
That
like, "That's
reminds
my
me.
friend from the street. She's got my back. She's the last person in my gang." And you're like, "What?" And then but it's enough for obviously Anya to be like, "Oh, Vixen's here," right? Like, none of this sounds right.
This isn't therapy. This isn't my house. I don't have a wife.
Yeah. So you probably ask like, oh, you'd probably get Vixen to go in the other room for some reason to get her alone, to try and like get Serafina back, and then like once you get her back, then you're like, okay, let's go talk to this person now.
And then Sayuka's just like sitting on the couch, her little legs swinging, you know, kind of like looking down at the floor, humming to herself.
Yeah, and then like Serafina has to kind of explain what's going on, I guess, while Anya helps or whatever.
How's her best can.
Because, yeah, Serafina is still aware even while Vixen is
Yeah.
in the elm. So she can explain what's going on and what might be triggering, while Anya just deals with the guest.
Yeah. So like she probably explain that like I'm like this is my real name, blah blah blah. Like the Vixen person, I mean, like basically explain the whole thing, right? So and then after that, like you would probably get that. Oh, Serafina is this Vixen, but better, right? A better person, a Vixen, but has kind of issues, but it's like the issues that Serafina have aren't bad issues. They're just like emotional issues, where Vixen's issues protect her from those emotional issues, but then lash out with like bad issues, like go to jail issues. Yeah. So the idea is you probably would feel like pretty quick, like, oh, Serafina's probably a better person to interact with and to take over, but then she's still going to be hurt from these other things. So yeah, like basically, I guess Anya would probably explain the whole merger thing or something. But the idea is maybe Vixen came out before, but when Vixen came out, she just wandered the fuck off. Right? She just like wandered off and like got into trouble or something, and then brought it back home with her. But today Vixen came out and they just stayed in the house and played video games. Right? They just had fun or something. So maybe that's where Anya gets the idea of like, okay, you can come around when I need you to babysit, right? Like I'll call you when I need a babysitter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Cool.
like I guess during that time when she was talking alone to Vixen's like, and I guess Anya, sorry, and Serafina comes out. It's like, okay, did you bring anyone to the house? What kind of trouble to get into? Should we worry someone comes over here? And just kind of go not as not as coarsely, but gets into the typical questions to make sure there's not going to be any trouble.
Yeah, trouble.
coming
Yeah.
their way.
Yeah, Serafina
And
would just tell
when
everything.
she
Yeah.
learns, like, oh wait, you didn't even tear up the house? I mean, I know you didn't even tear up the house. Okay.
No, I was saying like there's two different incidences, right? Like at one point Vixen came out and she went and got in trouble, But then this one time, now that Vixen came out this time, she didn't get in trouble this time because she had Sayuka to like distract her, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was saying like this is when you get the idea that okay, Sayuka can keep Vixen in somewhat check when she's Vixen. Like Vixen would be like, I'm gonna go rob a bank. And she's like, that's a good idea, and she goes and does it, right? But she's like, I'm gonna go rob a bank, and she's like, that's stupid. You're never gonna rob a bank. Like, yeah, I would. It's like, what do you mean? How are you gonna get through the door? It's like, that's a good idea. I don't know how to get through the door. I can't really open a door, big giant metal door, right? Like, she like sits and talks through her shit, right? Kind of deal. So Sayuka like, and she's like, oh, okay, let's not go rob the bank. Right? Like,
Listen, how do you expect to get past the vault door?
Yeah. So like you're like, okay, well let's just play video games then. Or let's just let's just do something else. But because also I assume you've probably interacted by this point, like after years, like, hey look, this is my girlfriend Serafina. If she comes in here dressed like a homeless person and steals anything, just put it on my tab. Right? Like like not giving out the whole thing, but explaining to like the random shopkeeps like she might look like she's trying to steal it and doing a very bad job at doing it. Just put it on my tab. Right? Like
Just like looking directly at the shopkeeper.
Yeah.
In her pocket.
Yeah. And like they come in and it's like, oh hi. Like you might even say like call them like yeah, I'm just gonna remove the other two things. Like I said, like this is just be Vixen and Serafina. I'd have like the nicknames or whatever. Because Serafina's okay with her name. That's what I was saying. Like before, Vixen I didn't like it, but I think the idea of Serafina is okay with yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they would call her Serafina and be like, "Who told you that?" Right? And be like, "They're on to me. We'll scatter and grab the food and run."
And like Sayuka slaps Vixen on the wrist, just like, dude, put it back.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like, this is what I'm talking about, like, the days that you're not there, right? The days before, like, yeah, because Anya will be like, okay, she's probably gonna go steal something from somewhere. I don't know why she'll do it, but I better tell every random shopkeep, even the ones that make no sense for him to steal from, like, them, right? Like, just in case they do it. Like, why did you rob the automotive store? Like, I don't know. It was like, it looked like it was expensive, so I took it. Like, why? To prove that I can.
Like nail polish. What the fuck? Why did you take this?
Like, I don't know. It doesn't even go with my doesn't even go with my hair.
It's shiny.
It was so ugly. I didn't want no one else to buy it. Yeah.
Vixen's logic is it's shiny, must have.
A rain-catcher only works when it rains. Vixen.
So, yeah. But I think Serafina would be very much into all the girly girl stuff because Anya likes her doing that, so it makes Anya happy, so it makes, you know, Serafina happy that Anya's happy type deal. Yeah, so I would assume yeah, and Vixen doesn't like any of that shit. Yeah. But I assume Serafina also like I assume Vixen had a bunch of random ass like how she has a bunch of piercings and stuff like that. I assume Anya went to go have her like make them symmetrical, not just randomly scattered across their body. And then instead of them just being random pieces of metal and junk, she probably like, okay, they're all shiny and nice and gold or something or whatever. Like, so they actually look like it's very like stylish or unique, right? Instead of just being like some trashy person with a bunch of random piercings scattered.
Is this a paperclip?
Yeah. Like, well, it wasn't, but then I lost the thing that was supposed to be.
Okay, come on, okay.
And then I lost the paperclip because I forgot I put it there. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's just-
well, that's good. But I guess we can move back into the other talk if we have about the whole like pentacles thing or whatever, like the cards.
Mhm. Okay.
But Josh, what are you thinking? So, do you want us this to represent not like 4 of swords, but just of swords, pretty much?
Wait, repeat the question?
Like how instead of saying like we represent, like how I was saying, okay, I represent the 4 of swords, I represent 4 of pentacles, you just want me to say like you represent swords?
It's more up to y'all because it depends on what y'all use, and I'll just I guess reflect that off of the world.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, because I looked at the different cards and I said, okay, these people they match their card pretty well. I think that's the big trick about tarot cards is everyone matches everything pretty well, and you just think it's like special to you. Right? It's like the vague fortune teller thing. So like, if you look at any card, anyone can probably think of them being connected to something about it. So yeah, I guess I just took the 4 of swords because it was like, you know, the art that I had. So I guess if we want, everyone can look at all the other tarot cards and see which one they want to be, but...
Yeah, because it's a wide range versus just being swords.
Well, I mean like 4 of swords, 5 of swords, 6 of swords, 7, each of them have different things, different meanings.
Yeah, but that's also a different imagery for
Honestly, I wouldn't look too much into the imagery even.
What do you mean imagery?
I guess the meaning behind it, just because it's gonna bog down. Like, I can look at the concept.
Or do you mean like another deck might have like 4 of daggers instead of swords or something?
No, what I mean is that the special meaning behind each individual card in each set.
Yeah. But I figured we'll stick to one, right? The basic one, the normal one. Because I have one where it shows like them being called different things, right? But I think there's like one universal. This is the main one that everyone uses, which is the one I linked kind of to you guys. Because as I was going down that list, I was like, yeah, these all make sense. And then I found the other list, and it looks like that list is taking from like 3 different lists or 2 different lists or something, and making them the most like iconic of the ones. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Because some of them are like really weird. Like the Hierophant is also the Pope, right? I'm like, Hierophant, I remember Hierophant, but I didn't know what it was, but I guess it is like a Pope, so I guess the more modern version of the name would be the Pope. But yeah, the Hierophant is like cooler and more like, you know, fictional cooler, I guess.
It's more exotic name.
Yeah, it's more exotic, right? Because you could be like, oh, it's like the Pope. Oh, but it sounds cooler. Yeah. Oh, were you talking more about like the face cards?
I was just talking about.
Oh, what Josh was talking about when he says different. Like, did you mean like
yeah, like difference between the 4 of wands, the 5 of wands, yada yada.
Yeah, I know what you were, but I didn't know if Josh was talking about that or was he talking about you can also be face cards.
Oh, the face cards.
Yeah, the face cards seem a little bit too special.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'd rather save those for like cooler, more interesting NPCs, so they can automatically be kind of cool and interesting. Because really the whole card thing is it's just essentially like a background in D&D almost, right? Where if you're like, okay, I'm gonna embody this card, so you get a few like keywords to roleplay potentially, like greedy or charitable, or right. It's just like saying like I'm gonna make my character naive, right, or whatever. So it just gives you some extra keywords that help you play your character. That's why I said a lot of the keywords fit a lot of our characters. So it wasn't really going to be that much needing to change anything. Except for Ragnar, right? I don't know what Ragnar's even playing, so... But yeah, so...
I mean, if you guys want to, focus on it, go for it. Cool.
Well, I'm just saying the next thing we can talk about, because it's a thing, and it might be a thing you can start working on for stuff for us, right? So it's a thing we can make up that you can add to your game that's like involves all of us. That can give us also another reason to stay together, potentially, other than our own reasons. Because Ragnar might, if yeah, because I might not be able to make Ragnar a bad bond because of how our group is already pretty tight knit. So if like, oh, you know, Serafina / Vixen doesn't like you, then obviously Anya's not gonna like you, and probably obviously like Yoga's not gonna like you. So why would you stay with, like, why would we keep you around?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we have to figure out what that is.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at a different deck thing, because like the tarot cards I know have like totally different things. Like maybe the swords are a card, but I mean,
Are you looking at
What are
the
you?
major?
Oh yeah, are you looking at the
minor
major or
arcana?
minor? Look at the last thing I said in Eclipses.
So the major arcana.
Yeah. So there's
Wait.
22 major arcana, which is like death and the Hierophant.
Right.
But then there's like 60 minor arcana, which are like suits of cards, except there's like a, you know, another one added to it.
yeah.
Wait, why 60? Shouldn't there be
30. 60, no.
56?
15, 15, 15, and 15. There's 15 of each, right? Or there's 14 of each.
I had 14 of each because you got the knight and the
Whatever you have normally plus 1.
yeah. So a symbol suit has 13 cards.
Okay, so it's 14 then. Yeah,
14.
yeah.
So yeah, 56. No,
Yeah.
not 60 or 52.
Yeah. A tarot card deck is like a slightly bigger card deck because of the 22 plus the extra 4. Yeah, what are you looking at, Josh? Well, I mean, just send us what you're looking at, and we can be like, okay, cool.
No, it's just the base cards, the major cards.
You're looking at the face cards. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I was saying save the face cards for more like NPCs being able to be cool and stuff like that for some reason, right? Because they seem like they have a job almost, or a thing, where like the minor arcana are just like extra words. Right, like if I make a character that's death, I would be like, okay, I'm probably gonna make some kind of death-based, right? You know what I'm saying? I probably want to make the character kind of centered around death, right? But I think the undead queen or whatever, or the undead titan might fit that, right? Because they have death. They also have the hangman, which are kind of like similar. So like one could be the titan and one could be the queen or something, or whatever. Like one of their things, like, so that can, like, that's what I'm saying. Like there's probably a lot of the face cards that can fit some of your major NPCs because they have special like roles, right? Where like the minor arcana are just things, right? They're just like keywords, like how I listed the, like, each of them have like a few keywords to represent. So I was saying that it's really easy to make these, 'cause all you have to do is have your character embody some of these keywords, like greedy or selfish or whatever, right? Kind of like the sins thing. And that's why I was saying they can be just a bunch of random NPCs, like smaller, that just have slightly extra power because of, say, one of the tarot cards of the 48 or 46. Wait, no,
56.
56. Yeah, like I forgot 10 more. But, yeah. But you wouldn't have to make up really anything special about them, other than they're them, and this guy is greedy, right?
Alright, so you said you guys are all choosing swords, or you guys are choosing
No, we were gonna pick one of
and
each.
that's just 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're all 4. Like, I'm 4 swords, Anya is 4 of pentacles, and Saruka is 4 of wands, and Ragnar will be 4 of cups. Because it's exactly 4 of each, right? And then, yeah. So, like I said, we'll be the, like I said, it'll be kind of like the sins thing, where like we've all drawn together because of this special thing, whatever it is, right? And then, yeah. But we were just like lesser power things. That's why I said there's a lot of them. Then people like the higher, like the lower arcana might not know who they are, what they are, but the higher arcana might be like, or major arcana might be more of like they're more powerful beings that know what they are, and they are because of they are, and then like they can actually sense the lower arcana, and like I said, some of them can be trying to recruit as many as they can because they know they could be potentially powerful, or even potentially become one of the higher arcana one day. Like if one of the higher arcana dies, and maybe it's like a prophecy thing or something that one of the minor become one of the major, and then right, because I think the major won't like just die off and like new ones like come up. It'll be more like they have to be killed or something, where major arcana are just like each generation. Like every generation there's a new line of minor, like right, just like the Sins, how they kept like living and dying and coming to whatever. But the horsemen might be like more special, so it's like that again, but it's like on a maybe bigger scale where there's more Sins and more horsemen, I guess. Yeah, but just like different prophecy type deal, which also gives us potential rivals, right, or potential allies of like the 5 of Swords or the 6 of, right, like things like that. But also, like I said, like maybe that'd be like one of the major arcana that's like I figured out a way where if I sacrifice one of the major or minor arcana, I can gain its power or become stronger because of it or something. So like there may be a bad guy that's collecting them and trying to kill them, or one that's just like making them soldiers, or one that's just trying to lock them all away so they can't do anything bad because I don't know, just whatever random reason these random NPCs have. But yeah, I was saying it gives you a easier, like another way to just say this guy's strong because of X. He's strong because he's the 5 of Swords, right? Or instead of just like having to make up other reasons why they're strong because of other magical things, you just have another way of doing it. Because it's like, yeah, 56 free, or I guess 52 because we're taking 4 of them. Yeah. Yeah, so, and you can make up whatever bullshit you want to make up that we can do or not do. Because, I mean, it seems pretty easy, right? You just take some story you already had and just put cards in play. Yeah.
Who's playing the Cups? Because the Cups doesn't sound like a fun.
Ragnar? What was the Cups? What was the 4 of Cups?
Depression, missed opportunities,
That seems like Ragnar.
like this session.
Well, that's wrong side up. What's the right side up?
I mean, see, that's what I'm saying. It's too shit. Everything's like...
Oh, let me go find the one.
Oh, I guess we're looking at the minor arcana?
Yeah. Because the way you shuffle a Terra deck, you shuffle it both up and down and sideways and all kinds of ways. Because you want the cards to get all mixed up all different ways. Because when you flip it up, there's a difference between right side up and wrong side up. Yeah. So they're supposed to be like they're supposed to be good and bad, but some of them are all good and some of them are all bad. Because I know Vanessa's was all good, and I was like, that makes sense because her character's just good. Where like Vixen's and Anya's were like mixed, right? So I was trying to show like that difference of good and yeah. Where
So it's not 52 cards, it's 104 cards.
22 plus 50.
6
50,
equals
yeah.
78.
I'm saying if it goes up and down, then it's just double page.
Up and down?
Yeah, you said for one side or another side?
No, you shuffle them, but you don't just shuffle them like a normal shuffling deck. You would flip some.
So if when you reveal the card, if it's facing upwards or facing
Yeah, but the way you do it is you mix the cards up in the deck, because there's a directional facing.
Well, the thing is, when they're revealed, they have to be based on rotation.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So it's instead of just
you're
52, it's 104.
Sure, yeah, because it's different meanings. Yeah, it's a way to simulate different meanings by not adding more cards. Like there's no need for a right side up king and a wrong side up king or whatever, because then you just shuffle the deck all weird like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's more like a 104 card.
No, but yeah, 104 card deck, but we embody both sides. Like each of the card embodies both, right? Like it's either you're good or you're bad, right? You have all these emotions kind of deal, right?
Yeah, I'm saying, but just using that as a joke.
Well, it only usually means like 1 or 2 words.
I'm seeing at least 3.
Well, no, they usually, I think they usually mean the same thing. Like they're just like different ways of saying it, kind of deal. That's what I was, because I read some of them. I'm like, these all kind of mean the same thing, like exhaustion and burnt out or whatever. I was like, that's kind of the same thing. Like, I guess you get exhaustion from being burnt out, or you become burnt out after you're exhausted. I don't right. Like I was like, I don't think I need all these. Yeah, but yeah, I think it's just not. Yeah, right. I don't know which one are you looking at.
What was I? Let's look at that.
The wiki.
I mean,
I have the wiki. I don't know. We probably should all find the same one and read. So we can.
yeah. Like I struggle finding like the general meaning of.
Found one that was really good. It wasn't the wiki though. I don't know what the wiki even.
Yeah.
The wiki goes into like too much detail with it, and with detail it comes like opinions. Because it's like, this is what I think it means. It's like, no, you gotta just find just the words. We'll keep it as simple as possible, just a couple of words, and we'll use whatever words that make sense to our characters.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to use them all. Oh, let me just. Look at my history.
Okay, Pentacles, finances, career, and achievement. Cups deals with matters of the heart, love, emotions, and relationships. Let's see.
Okay, this is the one I use. But how did I get to it? Meaning. Okay, this is the one I used. It says this one's just words. You scroll down and it has like 4 things you click on, then you click on one, and then you click on, the card you want.
So we click on minor arcana, minor.
This is where I got the ones I linked to you guys that said like these kind of match your characters.
Okay. Yeah, and it just says it when you click on each of the minor arcana.
You scroll down and it has a list of the different cards, little pictures and stuff. These are the ones that I see for the 4 of Cups. It seems like more of like being a coward or being cautious, and then like either not doing things that are obviously bad, or right, like not just running away from everything. Right? It's either you run away from everything or you run away from things that make sense for you to run away to, or something. Or yeah, like contemplation, apathy, yeah, revelation, like.
Okay.
But what kind of weight would this cause having be?
Kind of weight?
With the sin situation, you guys were like obviously powerful beings because you were one of the major sin.
Yeah.
But with this being so diluted, it's going to be like you still got it.
Yeah. Well, remember how you said like everyone's special for whatever reason? Like there's always like magic on around. Like this is just our random prophecy. Like.
So it's not being special. It's just they have power. They're not just like counter because rules of D&D.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're saying everyone's a base of X power, right? Like instead of the basic NPC being a commoner, you're saying the basic NPC is like something a lot stronger than a commoner, basically, right? and basically everyone's a player character. Everyone, no one's an NPC. Everyone's a level 1 character, and they level up by just like doing whatever they need to do, and then they just live their life and they get stronger, right? Is that what you're kind of saying? So like you're a player character, they're a player character. You know, some player characters are higher level than you. Something like that.
I guess that makes sense, but I think the term player character is still falling into the idea of mechanic.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to explain it in a way to, because you explained it to me like, oh, they're not all commoners, and I'm like, well, yeah, I'm trying to explain it the same way you're trying to explain it. Like they're not all commoners because
you kind of used that before. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was saying because, right? It's because of this thing. But you're saying your power base in your game is it's technically the same. It's just so in D&D mechanically you don't ever interact with higher level things because of mechanics, right? They say like, hey, don't put really powerful things in front of your players because they might hit them and then they die and then everyone's sad about it, right? And it's weird to be like, hey, as a DM, don't hit that guy, he's really powerful, right? But then it's like, well, then you have this trust issue thing, right? You should always be able to trust your DM, blah blah blah. So in like Curse of Strahd, when you meet Strahd right at the beginning of the game, and you're like, that's the guy why we're here. We need to kill him to get out of here. Charge, right? And then like Strahd fucks with you, and then he says good luck, and he leaves you alone after he fucks with you a bit, right? But he doesn't kill you. So like that's okay once in the entire game. But then when you run into every single monster that just either kills you or fucks with you and leave, it becomes kind of boring and weird. Like, oh, I'm not really special. I don't really get to do cool shit. Everyone else is doing cool shit. I'm just like nothing here. But the idea is, you have to earn it here, right? You know, it's not just you're the hero, you automatically win. It's you have to earn your place to be special type deal. Like everyone else is just as special as you, no more special than you, and they've all done more than you so far. So as you become stronger, then you will be stronger than some of these people, right? Like if you first session fight someone and they kick your ass or could cook your ass, like after a few months of playing, you could probably come back and kick their ass potentially, because maybe they just stayed in their same spot, but they were as strong as they were, right? Like you don't just get born a commoner and then become a guard once you get a guard. Like some people are born commoners, some people are born, you know, bandit leaders, some people are born like, right, and they have these different power levels is based off just how they were born. Like it's nothing, no mechanic, no anything made them. They're just a random mix of people scattered across the world with different power levels just cuz. Is that kind of what you're meaning?
So it's based off of status for the most part. Like if you going to go, challenge a queen who has a past of being in a war that, to major like
they've done stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just off of status and what they've done.
Well, yeah, that's. I mean, even in D&D, like there's a NPC called Noble. Like he's just way stronger than a commoner because he's had training as because just his noble training. He's not very strong, but then that was I think the problem with 5th edition, where there was like very shitty human, like very shitty basic things, and then they eventually came out with like the Warlord as like 138 HP, and it's like he's just a human, but he's like a warlord, right? He's like a general or something. I was like, okay, this is cooler. I like this. I like these like basic humans able to be just like strong, and I don't think anyone really uses that. But I tried as soon as they came out, I started pushing those things. I'm like, oh, this is cool. He has cool abilities and stuff. And I was like, he's the warlord, right? The veteran, yeah. All the names were just like started naming things.
My main question is like, what about the cards makes your character special?
We're waiting for you to tell us that.
That's what I'm saying. There's too many cards to just say that you're special because of this one effect because of the card.
Oh no, I was saying that it's the major arcana is special, like those things. So like whoever those guys are.
Become a major arcana, or just
yeah. That's what I was saying. Like the only thing the minor arcana have is they're maybe a little bit stronger because of that birth thing. Like how you said, like people are just stronger just because of whatever. Like this may because I said like I have an ability that's called the Four of Swords, right? But I only have one ability. And it's not like that encumbers my whole character. It's just that I have that ability, but the person next to me doesn't potentially. But they may have an ability for some other reason, right? Or whatever other reason they've done or something. So this is more of like I have an innate birth ability, like one ability for being the Four of Swords. That makes me slightly more special, but not really, right? It's like it's just I have like you roll your stats. I got a little bit better ones. No big deal. Like it's not that big of a deal. Like I said, like most times, like probably nothing comes of it. Maybe even they don't even know who they are, ever what they are, and they just live their life and die, right? But then some of them maybe rise to an occasion, and maybe that power gets stronger, or that power unlocks different things, and then eventually maybe they can become one of the major arcana or something, right? They take the place or whatever. It's whatever bullshit we want to make up to make it sound cool and us, to do shit, right? We're just trying to make this a small thing a potential big thing later on if we want it, right? Like it's not.
But the thing is, okay, it's not a small thing because it's already over encompassing. It's a lot of cards, a lot of options.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, do you rather us just be I'm the swords and they're like, so there's 20, there'd be 26 cards then?
I think that'd be easier number to deal with than.
Yeah,
I guess,
yeah. Like I said, I just pushed it the biggest it could be because to me I rather more because it's like it makes it more like more options to do more things with it, right?
But you gotta remember that this is I don't know. It just seems like a lot of extra work for something that doesn't have a huge payoff.
Well, no, it's like you don't need to use all the cards. Like you can just use the ones you want to use, but it gives you more options to use more cards.
Yeah.
Like the idea is like when we did the sins, we seen the other like horsemen, but we didn't really interact that much, right? We didn't really deal with them. We didn't really even see the other sins, right?
They were already gone. I think we only met with one other sin that we already had in our possession.
Yeah, other than the ones in the past, right? Like, so you don't need, you don't need to use all the cards. I'm just saying, like it could be like, did you hear the Ace of Swords was killed yesterday? Like, okay, cool, right? Like, or like how I was saying, there might be a major arcana that's been consuming them. So now it's like half the cards are already wiped out because they ate them or something, right? Or like one of them is collecting them as like soldiers because they have a slightly better power and they can help unlock their power, or they know they have the potential to be something better, so they're just like collecting as many as they can, so the ones that do become better, they already have them in their army or something like that, right? So one person might have like 12 of them already in their group or whatever, and whatever, right? Like I was just giving more options for more of them to be killed, removed, us to kill them, other people to be killed, right? Other thing, right? Just ways for expendable cards, basically, or off-screen interactions or things that happened, right? Because if there's only 4 cards and only 22 whatever, so that means like every time one disappears or doesn't do something, it's like a bigger deal, right? Because it's like, yeah.
So battle royale.
Yeah, something like that.
Stakes get higher, fewer cards they're in, and some might be more aggressive than others, while others are passive.
Yeah.
Fun deal, and we don't have to see all of them. Most of them are behind the scenes, unless we choose to engage in them. And if you, the Dungeon Master, also, I guess the Game Master, chooses to incorporate them, but it has to be an effort on both our parts. Otherwise, you can just
or if you think of an idea like to send us like the Ace of Wands for some reason, and we're like, this guy's stupid, we don't like him, we can just walk away from him technically. Like, okay, cool, I'll move his story to like the Ace of Swords or something, right? Or whatever, right? Like something like that. Because maybe we didn't like the character personality, but the story may have been cool, so you want to save it for something else. But this way, when it's like, oh, it's only very few, then it's like you don't have much room. Yeah, I mean, everything will be more significant, but it's fine. Like it's whatever.
The card works. It's already well into it before the campaign starts, and many of the cards are already off the table, or not going to even be an issue. And there's only like 2 or 3
or some of them
suits are only going to be a problem for us to deal with.
Some of them recently died in the last 5 years, so there's a new one that's been born. So like there are other cards, but like half of them are babies or dead.
Well, they could be dead again.
Well, the baby hasn't been born yet.
Someone's looking for a late-term abortion.
Yeah. So as I like, there gives more room for just like not seeing them. I guess. 'Cause, like does or killing them or having to kill them or not or someone else killing them.
Mhm.
Yeah, but again, like it's up to you. I don't really care. Whatever work you want to put into it, go for it. Like I said, it was just a way for us to make something that links all our characters together another way, right? That can be some kind of weird prophecy thing for later.
Yeah, guys, I have to
Yeah.
get up in like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's getting
to
late.
Get ready for work.
But yeah, I think we're at a good point anyway. We said I think everything we need to, other than like once we give and get more, we can. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can continue later on this week for it.
We can do it throughout the whole week, and we can do it whenever we see Josh in there or whatever, right? We can ask any other questions.
Yeah. And